Hi. Hello. 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 We're live. Apparently. Didn't realize that. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Benzinga Live, the midday Benzinga show where Aaron, Bree, and I talk about the market, talk about movies we're watching, talk about our lives, talk about our phones and how we've lost them and found them and all sorts of wackadoodle stuff. Got a good show for you today. Very excited for our first guest, Aaron, Bree. You and I met this person at our Fintwit conference a couple of weeks ago. Shannon from AlphaTrends. I don't remember which room you were in. If you were you at his?
I was in and out. I was kind of in and out.
Me too.
Of all of them.
Me too. But he was the keynote speaker, if you will, at our Fintwit conference. And let me tell you, we got yelled at by the venue for the fire hazard because people were out into the hallways. People were watching from the hallway, which you're not supposed to do in a hotel, apparently.
That was one.
The room was overflowing.
That was definitely probably the most well attended
for sure
speaker there at the conference.
For sure.
And I thought it was so great. I figured, hey, I want to bring this on the show as well.
Yeah, he was great. He got the entire room to yell in unison. I'm not going to spoil it. We'll have him do it again on this show. So
potentially.
So Brian Shannon,
if he wants to.
Sure. Brian Shannon's coming on in about a half hour from now. We're going to have Thomas Samuelson, who is the founder of a company called the BRON Network. He's got a very interesting backstory and mission. His whole thing is there are companies that are listed in the U.S. and companies listed overseas that have, like, it would shock you how the amount of information that is slipping through the cracks, the amount of disclosures, the amount of filings, the amount of news that is coming out of these companies, especially the companies not listed in the U.S., that are slipping through the cracks. So he started a new company basically where the entire point is to connect shareholders with these companies, especially the foreign companies too, where there can often be some different regulatory rules and a lot of news slips through the cracks there. So he's going to talk about just what to know about if you're investing in a company that has its home base in a different country, and how to find information about them. Basically, that's his thing. So that'll be at 12:30. We'll have Jesse Kaylor from Elite Trading on this show at 1:30, and that's the agenda.
Yeah.
That's the agenda.
I'm excited. Should be a good show.
Shelly, you did spoil it. This is true, but that's okay. All right, everyone, hit that thumbs up button, please, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on MySpace, on Friendster, and here we go. This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojasek from Trend Spider. We have breaking news. My question for you, Mr. Aaron Bree, is: did you sell in May and go away?
No, I did not.
Well, you sold in May. You just didn't go away.
Well, I net bought.
Oh, you net bought. Attaboy.
Well,
way to
yeah.
Be. Way to be.
And I wasn't the only one.
Way to be. No, you weren't actually.
Look at so this is from. Actually, wanted to bring this up real quick. So this guy Mike Zaccardi.
We've had him on Pre-Market Prep years ago. He's great. Should get him back on.
So retail has sold all their U.S. equity purchases from the last 2 years. Goldman.
This is. I don't know if I really believe this. I'll be honest with you.
Well, hold on. So we'll get to this. So
okay.
What we're looking at is, in the light blue is the index return of this retail favorite basket. So the retail favorite basket, for all intents and purposes, we can say is like the 100 most popular stocks on Robinhood. So you're talking about,
okay.
Your GameStop, AMC, Apple, Tesla. And for a while, as you can see here, during COVID, this basket was actually outperforming the overall market, outperforming the S&P
was.
500.
It was.
But as our good friend Eric Balchunas brings up in the chat, Balchunas. Goldman should specify what retail mean. Looks like they mean Robinhood YOLOers. Meanwhile, retail passive fund investors.
There we go.
Have
There we
plowed
go.
$200 billion into equity.
That's what I'm talking
funds
about.
Year to date.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
And then this guy Victor says, great point. When the pros like to SHIT on retail.
Is that what that means?
They conveniently dismiss the educated buy and hold passive indexers. We've been beating their brains in for years, and they would like nothing more than to imagine we don't exist. Bogle had the
Bogle. Come on now.
Jack Bogle?
Jack Bogle.
Jack Bogle.
Yeah.
Which actually Eric Balchunas has a recent book on, which everyone should go check out. And then Balchunas replied, well put, a sizable section of the dumb money, in quotes, is actually the smartest money.
Can you scroll back to that chart at the top there?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Goldman trying to convince us that like, oh, all the retail people are the stupid dumb money's out of the market. This is the time to buy. They're all washed out. Come on, this is stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, I think even Goldman would probably say they could have worded this a little bit better. I mean, they were putting out all these banks and investment firms put out so many of these charts, so much research that. I think they. And I don't think Goldman.
How does retail know that they've sold? How does Goldman know that they've sold? Is my question. How does Goldman Sachs know that I sold out of my YOLO trades from the last couple of years? They don't. They don't. Okay. So this is stupid.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's why like what this exhibit, what this is saying up here, retail has sold there doesn't really match up with what the chart is showing, which is just the index return of these holdings.
Right.
So.
All right.
Maybe we need to get someone on from Goldman Sachs Global Investment Research.
So one in the chat if you sold. This is how we got back on this. One in the chat if you sold in May and are going away. Two if you did no such thing. Aaron Bree and I were both net buyers because we're always net buyers in our long-term accounts. I got to tell you, man, May was a bit of a round trip month. If we look at here, I'll pull up like the SPY, for example. We can look at the major index ETFs here, and let's just go. What the heck? Why is
it might have been a round trip, but you would never even known you went anywhere.
Right, exactly. So if I pull up a monthly chart of the S&P 500 or of the SPY monthly chart, look at that May candle right there. Right. So if you've never seen candles, we had a question about this morning. You know, the wicks are the high and the low, and the body of the candle is the open and the close. What do they call this? A doji?
I do not know.
That's a doji, right? Where the close and the open
Shelley would know.
That's a doji. The open and the close are basically on top of each other right there. There is no wick.
What's the one on the previous April?
That?
No, previous April.
Like April of last year?
Yep.
That guy? Or the May of last year?
Wow, May was pretty similar.
Yeah, May of last year, that is true. Look at that. May of last year was also a doji candle.
That's pretty interesting.
All
right, so let's see what happened after that.
That's June. That's June. May of 2020, dude. You can't compare it to that.
No.
All right, you want to go to 2019?
Oh, there's another doji right there.
No.
That's not May.
No, that's May 2019. Anyway, so we basically ended up where we started. After all that fuss about a bear market and 20% drop and all that jazz, we ended up right where we started in the SPY at least. In the Qs, it was a red month again. Look at the monthly chart there. That's 5 of the last 6 months in the QQQs have been down. So the trend continuing there. We did fall 2% in May in the NASDAQ 100. I thought the Russell was interesting because this for so long was like the least liked of the major indexes, and the Russell was as close to being flat as can be in May. It was basically unchanged. And if you've been following us, you've seen us talk about the Russell index, and actually this monthly chart actually makes it look almost better than than I'm used to seeing it. But the weekly and the daily, they make it look horrible. This is an index that it hasn't been going up since really, I guess March of last year. I guess it did make a new high in November, but that was short lived. So this has been dead money. The Russell and the small caps really have been dead money now for over a year, and it was unchanged last month, which I guess is better than being down. But I don't know. It's a very interesting. Oops, that's not what I wanted to. Wait, DIA is what I wanted to bring up. This is the Dow Jones. You can see the same exact thing, basically. So I just thought that was very interesting. And I was going through the indexes. I was going through the sectors, because we're in a new month now. And energy was obviously your big winner by a mile in May. Look at that month. This is a monthly now. Look at that monthly candle for XLE, Aaron.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been watching energy more and more recently because I've been waiting. I mean, you got to imagine that at some point, even if gas prices and oil prices continue raising, that like these charts just have to get overextended, and there has to be a drawdown. And even if it's part of a continued higher trend, but it doesn't look like that drawdown's like ever coming anytime soon in a lot of these charts.
I know that's the thing, right? With energy, it's like. People are, you can say, "Oh, is the world really going to rely on more oil? Aren't we going to EVs?" And like, yeah, that's true down the line, but like in the immediate term, we kind of need the oil. Speaking of needing oil, OPEC is meeting tomorrow.
Well,
and
this is interesting.
They're going to pump more of it. So they say.
Can you pull up ticker TEL real quick?
Telluride?
Tellurion.
I was close.
Tellurion. It's like a.
Yeah.
Natural gas play. This thing's been on a tear, up 50% over the last 6 months because natural gas is so in favor. Down 10% today on news that the company's doing an offering or $500 million worth of senior convertible notes.
Why? Hey, why wouldn't you?
At this, while it's so in favor, but I see that as a potential opportunity to buy a stock that's. I mean, it doesn't look like natural gas is slowing down anytime soon.
No, I mean, that's the thing with commodities, right? They continue to be, at least energy commodities can continue to be strong. We have a new member in the chat. Brett Stevens says he's got a couple questions. Brett, ask away, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your goals for trading or investing, and how long you've been doing it, and what you're looking at. We would be glad to answer any questions. So TELL, interesting play. I wanted to look at COP. I don't know if you saw that yesterday, man. This thing got the beats on the headline that OPEC was going to pump more oil. Look at this. You don't typically see a lot of afternoon days like that where this thing didn't have a green 15-minute candle from what 1:45 until the close, just straight down for over 2 hours yesterday. Again, that was on a report, I believe, from the Wall Street Journal that OPEC is gonna pump more oil into the market. So that's why the whole energy market kind of turned yesterday. And that was kind of the story of yesterday. Story of today is
reverse.
I think that's every day. So somebody asked this morning in the pre-market prep chat, why are we up? I don't get it. And I'm going to say the exact same thing, but I'm going to say it about why we're down. Does it make sense that we opened higher this morning in the pre-market session? Is there any fundamental reason for it? No. Is there any fundamental reason for why we're trading down, 1% today? No. I'm going to say no.
Well, I mean, if you pull up just a daily chart of the SPY, I mean, you could argue we, just needed a little healthy drawback, and then
that's what it is. I think it's a healthy drawback, right? What is notable though,
I mean, if we get back down to the previous lows of a couple weeks ago and blow through them, then I'll be worried. But if it's just a day or two where we're down a couple percent and then people are buying again, I still think there was a couple weeks ago where essentially, I'm not saying the market bottomed or that was it. We could certainly be in for more pain in the short term, but there was a time a couple weeks ago where it seemed like we were at absolute rock bottom in terms of just bearish news and sentiment, to where it seemed like, to me at least, we had nowhere to go but up in terms of what type of headlines we were getting out. And that's kind of I can think of China for an example. Like, China had been shut down for 6 weeks. Things were, looked very dire. And now we're getting headlines that Shanghai is coming and other cities are coming out of the lockdown. And it's like, that could be seen as bearish. Inflation could potentially continue. We could be getting some good numbers that could indicate that inflation has peaked. That would be seen as bullish. So I do think a lot of those headwinds that we were facing may have just been at their very height in terms of media attention and how much we were talking about them a couple weeks ago.
Although, you know what today is a reminder of? Today is a reminder that you really can't chase moves. Like if you're buying stocks or buying whatever, over the indexes, the SPY or the Qs or whatever, if you're buying things after they've already ripped higher for a week, that's not working right now. It's really not. Today's because everybody that bought on Friday is those games are gone now today, right? So it's been 2 days, and and if you didn't sell, it's over, right? You've already lost all your gains from Friday's session. So it really hasn't paid to chase. It's paid to wait for pullbacks, or not even pullbacks. It's paid to wait for like a series of lows in the same area. Like we had on, this is a daily, we had a couple lows there, from mid-May at what, 385 in the SPY. If you go to a weekly, you can kind of see, it's not exact, obviously, but it has not paid to chase. It has not, so that's what this reminds me of, is if you're buying stock, if you see a stock like, what's a good example? Like Upstart, okay? Upstart's a good example. So Upstart, this thing just ran from, in the span of, 2 weeks, went from $25 and it's topped out at like 54. So this thing more than doubled in 2 weeks. I think you can't really, and you can see, look at this chart. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? People that chased it up here, they lost. People that faded that up move, they won. People that faded the down move, they won.
We'll be talking about trends with our next guest, who should be joining us in about 13 minutes. What I would also say to that is just that I think if you recognize a stock is in an uptrend and you can understand the story behind why that is. For example, if we went back to the energy companies, or you looked at Chevron's chart, 2 or 3 months ago, you could have said, oh, this is already up 10%, I'm not going to chase it. But if you understood why it's up 10%, why people are buying it, maybe it would have incentivized you to buy it more.
It's fair. That's fair.
But to your point, yeah, I mean, I would say like these stocks like Upstart that are kind of trading more just based on complete speculation and what the sentiment is, definitely more reversals in those cases.
I'm watching the scanner tool in Benzinga Pro. So NVIDIA just made a new low of the day. Hey, I don't know if you noticed this morning, man. We had a lot of like random ass guidance today. Did you see that? I wanted to talk to you about the airlines.
Oh, yeah, the airlines gave bad guidance.
No, it wasn't. It was good. Okay, this is a really good example. I
just assumed because the stocks were down like 4%.
I know. So this is a great example of how news might say one thing and the market does something completely opposite. Okay, so let's pull up this chart of UAL, United Airlines. Wait, was it UAL or was it? Shoot, now I'm blanking out. Wait, who had the guidance today?
Could be AAL.
No, wait, it may have been Delta. Hold on. It was Delta. My mistake. Okay, let's go to the DAL chart. My bad. How's that look? Okay, it looks the same. Okay, so Delta Airlines, they come out completely out of the blue this morning, totally unprompted, and they raised their guidance. Okay, it was a slight raise, but it was a raise nonetheless. Okay, they raised. You can see here that 7:49 a.m. headline. They raised their total revenue guidance for the quarter, the current quarter, from this is 93 to 97% of pre-COVID levels to 100% of pre-COVID levels, and yeah, so it's a slight increase, nothing too crazy, but the market reacted. Okay, if I pull up dude, why does my chart keep doing that? I keep losing my chart. I got like a bug in my Pro. Anyway, if you go to the 1 minute chart, you can see clear as day the stock popped on this headline right there this morning. 746. There it is. The stock was minding its own business, $41.85. Yada yada yada. Boom. Within 15 minutes. Wait, no. Within a little over 10 minutes, you went from 41 to 43. Stock went up $2 in 10 minutes. Okay, good headline, right? But, and this goes back to what our next guest is going to be talking about, right? Stocks that are out of favor or in downtrends. This one isn't really in a trend, frankly, but you can. It says a lot by how the stock market reacts to a headline. It says a lot about your stock. If the stock goes up on good news, that's good, obviously. If the stock goes bad on bad news, that's expected. If a stock goes down on good news, that, I think, tells you everything you need to know about how Wall Street feels about your stock right now. And so this is an objectively good headline. It wasn't like the best headline in the world. It was a slight guidance raise, but a guidance raise is always good. You like to see it. And the stock market, Wall Street, does not care. The stock is down almost 5% today now. Gave back all those gains from the morning pretty much immediately at 9:30. And is now, you can see, giving back yesterday's, trading down to, what is that, Thursday's level. So good news, the market fades it, and that's not what you want to see. Not at all. I don't think, to the comment in the chat about the flight cancellations, I don't think flight cancellations are going to move the needle for these companies, for the stocks, I should say, unless it gets really, really bad in the next couple of weeks, a couple months. I think, and this is just my own opinion, I think Wall Street looks beyond that in the same way that it looks beyond car recalls, because I think the assumption is that it's not a long-term problem. So flight cancellations are going to get all the headlines. I don't think that the stock will be moving based off that. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, it's a lot of times the problems that are very much consumer facing.
Exactly. It's a consumer problem. It's a Main Street problem. It's not a Wall Street problem. Unless it gets exponentially worse and you start seeing, 1,000 flights canceled, every other day. That gets to be a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think their investors have a lot of questions right now about the different airline companies and kind of how they're faring in the current situation. Are they able to pass off a lot of these increased jet fuel costs to customers? Or are they facing the brunt of it, the companies themselves? And the companies don't report earnings for another 6 weeks or so. I don't think the first one is until
mid-July.
Yeah, exactly, mid-July. So there's a chance people are just kind of waiting until then, but I'm still, I think, bullish on the airlines from down here.
Yeah, you were bullish yesterday, so that's why I kind of.
I know it's kind of bad timing on my part, but.
Well, I thought it was good timing, but as you can see, we've given those gains back. All right, so Delta Airlines comes out with guidance this morning. Stock gives it all back. I am probably most interested today in talking about this stock. Not a stock we talk about very much on this show. SPGI.
Why do we want to
S&P Global.
Why are we talking about this stock?
I'm glad you asked. So there are only 3 companies that offer the service of rating bonds, right? If you've ever, if you're a company or an investment bank or whatever, and you issue new debt, you sell some bonds, those bonds need to be rated, right? Are they AAA? Are they super safe? Are they junk, aka high yield? These ratings firms assign a letter grade based on the riskiness of this debt. How likely is this company to default? All these sorts of things. There are only three firms that do this. Okay, S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. S&P and Moody's are public. Fitch is private. S&P Global came out today and they suspended their guidance for the year. They said there is extraordinarily weak market conditions for its ratings business. Now, S&P Global is sort of in the business of like market data. This is not the only thing that they do. They of course are the company behind the S&P 500 index. They provide indexes. Well, they provide a lot of index services. They provide a lot of market data. But bond ratings is a big part of the business. So they just suspended the guidance because they said, look, nobody is raising debt right now. No one is issuing new bonds. Okay, so our ratings business just fell off a cliff because who wants to raise debt in this economy where frankly, the Russia-Ukraine situation still hasn't resolved. You've got rising rates. People are there's a 50-50 chance of a recession. I mean, we're already halfway there. We just had a negative quarter of GDP growth. So if we get one more, we're in a recession. Nobody wants to raise debt in this. It's the worst year for bonds since like the Civil War. I read that like a month ago, right? So nobody wants to raise debt right now. So that's going to negatively impact their business. So this is actually another example of the stock market moving in the opposite way of the headline. Because you can see here, just like how Delta gave back all those gains, S&P kind of made back a good chunk of these losses today. And their peer, Moody's, MCO, did the same thing. They both opened way lower, right? Like Moody's closed yesterday, we'll just call it 301, and opened today at 271. This thing opened down $30. Made it all back right off the open. But this scares me. There are certain headlines that just scare me from mostly for what they say about the broader market or the broader economy. This is one of those headlines that scares me. I don't care about like S&P Global or Moody's, right? But I do care about what that headline says about the rest of the economy and the rest of the market. And that does not make me feel great. So
yeah, my only, I guess playing devil's advocate would be saying that people tend to flock to bonds when equities seem very unsafe. So if people aren't interested in bonds right now,
they're not, clearly.
You could view that as, well, I would be interested, I guess, to see the demand for ratings of equities as opposed to bonds.
Who was it? Oh, it was Carvana. Carvana just tried to do a bond sale, and there was no demand. They couldn't even sell all their bonds that they wanted to.
Well, yeah, that's Carvana.
That's Carvana? You're saying that's a Carvana problem?
Yeah. I think if Apple was trying to issue bonds, people would jump at that with an 8% interest yield or something, whatever.
Perhaps. Hey, producer Rohan, can you assist our guest in getting connected here to our stream? I think Brian's having some problems. Oh wait, nope. Now he's there. Look at that. See, I spoke it into existence. Wait, Brett Stevens says send me a shirt, and I will support the Benzinga team. Brett, we'll send you a shirt if you win one of our many giveaway contests. I'm sure we'll be doing.
We'll have a game sometime soon on the show.
Probably tomorrow. We can do some trivia. Trivia tomorrow. I guess that chart segment.
I bet our next guest would be good at the guess the chart segment.
I bet he'd be really good. Yeah. Should we bring him on? I see him here right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
You want to intro? Who do we got? We already teased it when we hopped on, but you want to intro?
Yeah, so we've got Brian Shannon. He runs,
who?
Brian Shannon.
Right.
He runs AlphaTrends.net. He was at our Fintwit conference that Spencer and I were both at in Las Vegas. And as we mentioned earlier, definitely had one of, if not the most well-attended seminars, whatever you want to call it.
I want to know if he knew that. I want to know if from up top of the stage, if he could see that.
Oh, I'm sure he could see the people kind of lining up outside the door, going in and out. But yeah, AlphaTrends.net. He is on Twitter as well. You've probably seen him, but let's go ahead and give him one of our special intros and bring Brian on the show.
Mr. Shannon, how are we doing today?
Hey guys, doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Long time no see. Could you tell at the Fintwit Summit that the room was in overflow mode for your session, or were you too busy focused on what you were saying?
Yeah, the lighting was kind of the lights were in your eyes a little bit. I mean, I could see people, but I didn't know that. It's nice to hear that it was well attended, and the whole event was just a great event, and there's tough competition with two rooms, so I'm glad that a lot of people decided to take the time to come listen to mine.
Yeah, I mean, we got scolded by the venue. It was a fire hazard to have so many people in the hallway and we're like, well, what do you want us to do? They all want to watch. I mean, so I guess we'll just start overall market here. I'm just curious, Brian, to get your take on things. We were talking about, now that May is over, we have a new monthly candle to digest, and
right.
we were going through the major indexes and what worked and what didn't. I mean, not a lot really worked last month besides energy. So what is your take on just where things stand right now?
I still look at this market overall as guilty till proven innocent. We're below a declining 50 and 200-day moving average. The 50 is below the 200. We've got a declining 20-day moving average. We get bounces and downtrends. It's not unusual. And, if you're nimble, you can trade those. That's, and there certainly was the opportunity for this one. There were signs last week that it was, getting ready to rally. Now we're at this level where it seems to be losing a little bit of steam, and it's pretty much right at the prior lows in the SPY, in the NASDAQ, in the Russell 2000. The SPY, we came up briefly through the lows from February and held for a day or two, but we're back down below those again today. NASDAQ came a little bit short, and the Russell came almost perfectly to that level, and we're seeing a resumption of selling today.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people right now are out there watching, trying to kind of, they saw last week and thought to themselves, was that the bottom? Did I miss out? Should I go out and buy now? So what will you be looking for before you you change that sentiment on guilty till proven innocent?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in calling the bottom necessarily, but it's obviously important to look for the signs. So for instance, last week, we were still in, like I said, below those declining 20, 50, 200-day moving averages. We're going to need to see those flatten out. That's going to take 6 to 9 months to happen.
Wow.
If they don't scare you out, they'll typically wear you out. And everyone's looking for the V bottom, but, because we've had so many of them in the last, decade or so. But this time we don't have monetary policy, backing it up. We've got the Fed going in the opposite direction. So the likelihood of a V bottom, I don't think is as strong. And we're seeing the clues from the individual stocks that continue to get beaten down. I mean, today we've got this APPS, which had been in a horrible downtrend. People have been trying to buy what they've been calling a dip the whole way down. And you remember from my presentation, we don't buy stocks in effing downtrends.
We don't do it.
We do not.
So, and here we are just getting smashed again today. If they don't scare you out, they'll wear you out. Forget about what you think about, about the company, because the stock is just a terrible stock. So back to your question, the way I look at it as a swing trader is I'm willing to participate in the rallies like we saw beginning last Wednesday afternoon through, basically through the end of last week. We stalled out yesterday and we're coming back down a little bit today. And if I find the bottom, it's by accident. By that, I mean, if I buy as I get a near-term indication that we're good for a bounce, if I can continue to raise my stops up and not get those stops hit and the market just keeps going higher, well, then I've accidentally found the bottom. But I'm not I'm not actively seeking it, especially when we have those longer term moving averages still declining. It means that the big money is exiting this market, and to try to fight it is just a fool's errand.
So a few minutes ago, before you hopped on, Brian, I mentioned Upstart because it's been obviously in a massive downtrend, and yet stocks that are in downtrends can rip in your face higher, and that's what happened here. The stock more than doubled in 2 weeks. Under what scenario or what situation would you participate in I'm gonna zoom in here on a rally like the one that Upstart's had from 25 to 52, right, in a couple weeks span there, or do you just say hands off for me?
It's hands off for me, but
Okay.
there are ways to do it with the anchored volume weighted average price. You could, for instance, if you do you guys have the Anchor View app on those charts there?
Yeah. Let me go.
If you could go
Oh,
to
do
maybe
it.
an intraday
No.
time frame,
Hold on. Do I? Oh, I don't know if I do. I have a normal view up. I don't think I have an anchored view up.
okay, that's fine. I mean, I
But
can kind of.
Brian, but if you want to share your screens, you can do that as well. If you want to show your charts.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't expecting that today, so
Okay.
I don't have that software on this computer. It would
Okay.
take a minute to, change things
Oh,
all
good.
around. One thing I can look at here though, if you just looked at, let's say, a 30-minute time frame, going back the last 2 weeks or so, I would say that when the market right there, that's good. So there where it says 12 o'clock, which was probably about the 20th, we saw that we had that pattern of higher highs and higher lows, and then it broke down hard on what looks like maybe the 22nd or 23rd, 22nd. So then we saw lower highs and lower lows, and then if you just use the definition of trend, where we saw that pattern of lower highs and lower lows interfered and interrupted again was over on the 27th, right as it broke beyond that $40 level. You could have made a buy a little bit down to the left, right at about $40 per share as it broke it where those blue lines are to the left of the 27th. Yeah, as it broke above that $40 level right there, it made a higher high. You could buy there with a stop underneath that most recent relevant higher low.
Right.
And we saw that pattern of higher highs and higher lows continue up until today, and you would have been stopped out, it looks like, at about that 49.5 level. So as a counter trend trade, we see that cyclical time, that cyclical structure unfold on multiple time frames. And just again, using the definition of trend for a swing trade, once it broke down today, it made a lower low. There's no reason to continue to be
Right.
involved. And in fact, you're probably better off looking for this stock to maybe rally up, 48 or so and start to roll back over and short the stock, because it would put it back into alignment with the longer term downtrend on the daily and weekly and monthly and every other single time frame.
I'm using Upstart as a proxy here, right? But you can do the same thing with any beaten down stock, right? Target or Walmart or whatever. So, Brian, what have you been trading recently this week?
Well, I was looking to get involved. I'll tell you one I didn't get involved in, and it ended up being a very good thing, which was Livent, LTHM. That one is, just it's the lithium company, of course, and they had broken out. I had missed it when they broke out, so I was monitoring it for a potential pullback and then go. Instead, the pullback continued to pull back, and so I've avoided it. And this is why I don't buy the dip, because if I bought the dip at 30 because I thought it was down too much, or if I bought it at 29 or 28, then the momentum is still clearly lower. So that's one that I had an eye on as a potential long, but avoided the losses. Two names that I had mentioned recently on Twitter that are working well. One is Swir, SWIR, and that was one I still have a small piece of that one left from my purchase of $20.88, and that was last week. And then ATEN at the same time, which I've been stopped out of. But right now, I've got a bunch of names. I'm just, I'm basically in scalp mode here until we settle down. And there's a couple different things I look at. We've got a rising 5-day moving average that might give some support for this market. I don't think it's likely, but if it does, I don't want to be stuck with a lot of short positions. So it's kind of, to me, a possible transition back to downtrend here today and tomorrow.
Yeah, and then a lot of technical traders that I've talked to kind of like to stick to a certain number of stocks. Do you have a group of stocks that you often trade, or are you just bouncing around to whatever's hot?
Yeah, so it's not bouncing around to whatever's hot. I'm careful not to chase things. That's one of my main things. Is I don't trade the stocks in play, the stocks in the news. I know a lot of people are attracted to those. As a swing trader, what I look for is the low risk, high probability setups where we have a tight range and it's looking like it has the potential to break free of that range. So for instance, LRN, it kind of got ruined today, but this was on my watch list as well, that it's in an uptrend on the weekly chart, the daily time frame, it's trying to hold on, although it's slipping today. So I'm more, trying to be anticipatory and say, what could be the next hot stock? And if I can buy it as those timeframes are aligned, just at the onset of momentum, then feed some out as the stock breaks higher. Or if I'm not on the initial move, I look for the pullback to kind of settle down, turn sideways, and then catch the reemergence of renewal of the momentum, if in fact it does, or just be on the sidelines like LTHM and LRN and say, well, they're breaking down, so it doesn't look like we're going to get that move.
Yeah, and then so as a primarily swing trader, do you also do any kind of buy and hold investing, long-term accounts, anything like that, or do you strictly swing trade?
I have, and I was experimenting more with it last year, but and I had some that I had held, greater than a year. But right now, I have nothing long term. I've been stopped out of everything. I don't believe in buy and hold. It's just it goes against my mentality. I believe in buy and hold as long as they're still going higher. But once they start breaking down, they're just another, gambling product, basically, and I'm not here to gamble.
Got it. That's a very different perspective.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, than a lot of people that we have on the show.
Yeah. Wait. So I'm curious, Brian. Like, in months like the one we just had, where you basically the broad market goes nowhere. How does that kind of environment work for you compared to trending months, either uptrends or downtrends?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it definitely trickier. But if you look at it, most of the month we spent going down. It wasn't until the last week that we really, made some ground. So I'm always a believer that while it is a stock market, it's also a market of stocks, and that you trade each stock based on its own merits. Now, when we're in a primary downtrend, I'll still trade some long names if they look set up good, but I'll do it with smaller share size. So unfortunately, with this type of move, and the downtrends are much more difficult. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, you can make money quick on the short side, but the way they gap them up, or these 3-day rallies in your face, it's just really difficult to hold on to your short conviction when that happens. Yeah. So I tend to be very quick to take off, a very first piece as soon as they're moving in my favor. And then I am really tight with my stops. So the market, as a function of that, shortens my time frame. And it's not intentional, but I because it's all about risk management and trying to make sure that I don't give back my gains, I find myself getting stopped out more frequently with very small winners or very small losers. So it's not the market that we want, but it's the market we have. So you've got to adapt, and first and foremost, just don't make the stupid mistakes of trying to think you know something about Upstart or about APPS, because the market doesn't care about our opinions. Clearly,
I still don't know what Upstart does, and that's not a knock on Mark Minervini. I don't actually. It's been explained. It's been explained to me. It's something to do with loans, and that's all I know. It's like the middleman of
they approve people for personal loans.
Okay, see, I still don't get it. You just
do the technology, the AI.
Fine, whatever. Wait, I don't want to ignore the chat or anything. There was a couple questions from the chat. Zen Bullish, loving the Nautilus golden ratio art behind you, Brian. You got some art fans. What else did I miss here? What about on the short side?
Yeah, I mean, so I've been trading short, but right now I have one position on short. It's BE. It's actually a little bit early, so I think a lot of these stocks are a little bit early on the short side. I shorted this one today, and it's working, but it's right now coming down to its rising 5-day moving average. So I'm close to covering it. I think then it gets bounced back up towards about 17 and a quarter, then it can roll over. AVID looks very similar to this one. Avid is, it's rallied up and, right up to that prior support. If you look there, you get that, November through February, March was prior support. We've rallied up on lighter volume into this area. So I'm not shorting the rip either because I didn't want to short it at 25. I don't want to short it at 26. I want to wait for it to roll over. And for Avid, it looks like it's going to need probably at least a couple days. And here, and this is what I was explaining to, people at AlphaTrends last night is, the way we were last night, there weren't a lot of good low risk, high probability swing trade setups, long or short. We're kind of in this little tricky spot where it's too late to buy. After last Wednesday's rally, we saw a rally of 6% or whatever it is in the SPY. But it's also too early to really sell short from a swing trade perspective. Intraday, there's always opportunities either direction, but we're kind of, getting ready to see if this AVID does in fact roll over again. But it's not there quite yet. I've got a couple other names that I'm looking at. Let's see, just looking at my list. Well, I like Coinbase as a short, but I didn't get involved in that one either. It fell short just of, it's right at the declining 20-day move ice off of the April high. Bitcoin, it trades a lot like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's rolling back over today. I didn't get involved in that, but I think that one's still vulnerable. Let's see, what else is on my list? I mean, I liked HSIC as a potential long, and it gapped up and it completely caved in. I'm sorry. What
was that one?
Henry Schein, HSIC. It gapped right up into the 50-day moving average and completely fell apart. So it had a nice tight consolidation. It looked like maybe it was going to, show us some stability in here, but that's why I don't chase gaps. The people who bought that on the gap this morning got excited. Boy, they got their ass handed to them.
Can you ask Brian when his new book will be out? No, but you can.
Yeah. I will have the final, the first edit to my editor, middle of June. It should be completed, everything edited, looking pretty on the inside by September. And then I have to wait for the publisher to print them. And they tell me that's December. But what they don't know is I am going to meet with my publishing guy and bring a envelope of cash and try to bribe him to bump somebody else so that I can have it out maybe in October.
Yeah, we know that process can take a few months. So
or worse, your book ends up stuck on a ship somewhere, for months on end.
Yeah. Well, these guys are in Canada. That's the good thing. There's no ships out of Canada.
Okay. All right. That's better.
Actually, that's not true. They come across the Great Lakes, right?
Brian, we'll have to get you on a little bit once you're close when your book's coming out to talk a little bit more about that.
And sure. if you need someone to go up to Canada, I volunteer him to just drive up there.
Yeah, we can actually see Canada from our office here in Detroit.
You can see Canada from behind us, so we are right there.
Don't bring your guns.
I'll bribe him bribe the border guards with maple syrup. Brian Shannon, if you don't follow him on Twitter, you're probably doing it wrong. At AlphaTrends is his handle. AlphaTrends is also his website.
AlphaTrends.net. Just drop the link in the chat. Go check it out, everyone. Brian, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, guys. My pleasure.
Alrighty.
Have a good one.
All right.
Smash
that like. That was a ton of fun. I've been following Brian for years, and that's like the second or third time we've ever spoken.
I just feel like we got knowledge bombed there.
A little bit. A little bit.
I might have to go back and watch it again to get.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll like get done with the conversation and realize like, oh shoot, like so much of what he said went over my head. I need to go back and watch it again. No, great stuff from the chat. Great stuff from Brian. What did you just have?
I was just gonna say, it's probably just because I don't think either you or I are quote unquote chartists. Or,
I'm definitely not. I'm definitely
experts.
not a chartist.
I can recognize a good little like head and shoulders or some support, some resistance.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like, I think most people, maybe this is just a generalization, but I think most people, the type of market analysis that they end up attracted to is whatever they're exposed to early on. Like whatever you get exposed to at the beginning of your journey, that's what you naturally gravitate towards. I was exposed to the Joel Kahn School of technical analysis, which is just support and resistance, right? And that is easy. And that's easy. It's easy for me to understand. It's easy for me to explain. I'm not a fan of the charts that are just have like 50 freaking indicators out there, and I can't even read I don't even know what it says. I'm so confused by it. I like support. I like resistance. I like volume. I like moving averages sometimes. Every so often, I'll bring up like a Fibonacci or a VWAP if I'm like in a trade or looking for an entry or looking for an exit. I'll use the Fibs or VWAP to do that. But by and large, I'm a simple man, you know. Give me a 50-day moving average and a 200-day moving average and some support and some resistance, and I'm Gucci. Call it a day. So
yeah, no, I mean, and I think even when I feel like most technical traders that I talk to, even if they have different indicators they like to use, if they have different strategies, if they have different opinions, I think for the most part, the one thing they agree on is that the simpler your strategy is, the better. I don't actually know a lot of technical traders that like to have, a million different indicators.
Well, like Nick Shaheen's charts, for example, they give me headaches.
Yeah, his have.
I can't read his charts. It's just too many colors.
Yeah,
it's so. But hey, it works for him. So who am I to say? I want to address this question from Shiny Man in the chat. The Dow Jones, a usually safer of the three indices, is also now dropping. Is this a sign that the fundamental stock market is crumbling? I don't agree with the premise of this question, though you are free to disagree with my disagreement of your comment. Let's bring up the DIA, the diamonds. Okay.
All right, and while you do that, I'll be right back, Spencer.
What are you getting? Some more coffee or something?
I'm gonna get some more water.
All right, whatever. Let's bring up the DIA. All right. So yeah, it's down 1% today. Whatever, the whole market's down. Let's bring up the DIA and let's compare it to the SPY and let's compare it to the Qs. Okay, the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow Jones. And let's go to a weekly and let's just zoom way out here. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This takes us back a few years. All right. The Dow Jones, as a gauge of market sentiment, frankly, it does a poor job. Okay. Reason being, first off, know what's in this thing, right? It's 30 companies. It's 30 stocks. Me personally, I would just much rather use an index of 504 stocks like the S&P has, or 503, whatever the number is, or even the NASDAQ 100 with 100 stocks, right? Using an index of 30 stocks, I think is, especially an index with as little exposure to tech as the Dow Jones has, I think it's just not a good gauge. I would much rather use the gauge of the S&P or of the NASDAQ. Also, don't forget that the Dow Jones is price weighted. So the stocks that make up the stocks that have larger weightings in the index, they have those weightings because their prices are higher. But I prefer a market cap weighted index. A stock price can be manipulated by the size of the float, right? How many shares are outstanding? There's no that those things can impact stock price. Stock price has no bearing on your value of the company, right? Market cap is all that matters. That's what you're worth. The S&P and the NASDAQ 100, those are market cap weighted indexes. I prefer those over a price weighted index where a stock like Amazon is a great example. Amazon could never be included in the Dow Jones index right now, right? Because it's a $2,000 stock. But after the split on Friday, they probably will be included at some point in the coming weeks and months. So I don't agree with the premise as the Dow Jones being, the end all be all for the market. I think most people on Wall Street don't use the Dow as a measure of anything, frankly. It's definitely more of like a Main Street index. Okay. So to the actual point though, is the Dow dropping? Is that a sign that the market is like rolling over or internally weak? I don't think you need the Dow Jones to tell you that the market is weak right now, right? We can all see the market. All the other indexes are down as well. Okay, the Dow Jones is moving with them. So to me, it says less about it's less about the Dow Jones being down as it is about the overall market being down. Again, I prefer the SPY. I prefer the Qs. I even prefer the IWM. It's 2,000 stocks in that. This is just my experience. I don't believe most people on Wall Street really pay that close attention to the Dow. Just my take. Dennis Dick, the co-host of Pre-Market Prep, always jokes that, on the rare occasion where he ventures out into the world and goes to parties and such, he always gets asked about the Dow, and he never has any idea. He has no clue. He doesn't care.
Well, I will say, to the person who asked this in the chat, I mean, I do think there's some, if it was just the Qs getting wrecked the past, few months, then we could write that off and saying that's one thing. But and let's see, because I don't even know what the Dow is down from its highs in January. So from January 4th, it's down about 11%. So that's just the Dow doing its job. Is not going down as much as the S&P 500.
Yeah, it's got a lower beta.
Or the NASDAQ. Right. It's not supposed to be as volatile. That doesn't mean it's never supposed to go down. It's like Spencer said, 30 companies, and a lot of these companies are also in the S&P 500.
I don't even know who's in here. You want to look it up? Who's in the Dow? I didn't even know.
There are Microsoft is in there, Apple.
Yeah, they've added some more tech in the last few years. Okay, so yeah, Apple's relatively new, isn't it? Who else is in there? Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan, McDonald's, 3M.
Salesforce is in there?
Oh, that's right. That was that got added in 2020.
That's weird to me.
They added Salesforce.
United Health Group is the biggest weighting, I believe.
They added Salesforce, and there was another one. IBM is in there. Intel is in there.
Coca-Cola. Yeah,
Value Tech, Microsoft.
Right, these companies aren't going to be immune to market weakness, but
why is Dow Inc. in the Dow Jones Index? That's confusing. Dow Chemical.
I have a funny story about that, actually.
About Dow Chemical?
Kinda.
Okay. That's a sentence nobody's ever said.
Well, when I first...
I have a funny story about Dow Chemical.
When I first started, trading on Robinhood, it was right before COVID hit. And I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was watching YouTube videos on how to trade options and stuff on Robinhood, and I started doing it. And I was buying puts on ticker Dow, thinking I was buying puts on the Dow Industrial Average.
Not great. You were not the first, nor will you be the last.
But I think it ended up going down, and I ended up making money anyway. And I learned 3 months later, oh, that's a completely different ticker.
Ooh. All right.
All's well that ends well, I guess. Now I know.
Today we all learned. All right, it's 12:28. We're going to bring our next guest on in a couple minutes here. Tom Samuelson, as I mentioned, from the Braun Investor Network, and we're going to talk about information, right? Public information from companies, where to find it. Okay, Tom's whole point is there's a lot more information coming out of these companies that actually makes it into the ether, right? Makes it on our show, for example. Gets media attention. How do you find this information? Where do you go? Especially if the company is not based in the U.S., because that creates a whole other can of worms. I want to ask him about China, too, because there's a lot going on in the U.S.-China front. China had a whole bunch of IPOs that didn't perform, and I mean, I don't know if you saw that DD is delisting. Did you see that?
I did. I can't believe any.
That was a rug pull in stock market. In crypto parlance, that was the DD thing was a giant rug pull. But
I can't believe any companies are still trying to go public via SPAC right now.
they're not. I saw 2 were canceled today.
Oh well.
Forbes was canceled. Forbes was canceled.
Until every single one is canceled. I don't know if the Fed
Forbes SPAC deal was canceled, and SeatGeek canceled their SPAC as well. So
All right. Well, there you go.
I think the SPAC world has been in trouble for about over a year at this point. It's fun while it lasted, but there's a reason those things were out of favor for a decade. Anyway, let's bring on our next guest, Tom Samuelson from the BRON Investor Network. Here he is. Mr. Samuelson, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. How's your day going so far?
Day's going well. Going well. I've been watching your show on and off, so just getting a little feel for what you guys do. It's my first time on, so.
Yeah, we don't have a feel for our show anyway. We talk about whatever we feel like talking about. We do have like a document that has like notes on it that we never follow ever. So it all. Best laid plans and all that. All right. I mentioned that you're from the BRON Investor Network. Tell us about that. Tell us like the purpose here, because you worked on Wall Street for a long time and you walked away from all that. Why?
Well, yeah, I was on Wall Street longer than I want to say, about 30 years, and the last almost 20 years was as working for a large hedge fund and investing in the U.S., but mainly outside the U.S. and emerging markets, Europe, et cetera. And if whether you're working for a hedge fund or long only, information is everything, right? How to get information, how to get it before the others get it, and being able to access information. And what I found, especially with foreign companies and even U.S. companies, you can put in this category, is that these companies, despite what everyone believes, which is a lot of companies don't want to tell you everything, every country in the world, including China, has full disclosure laws like we have here in the U.S. And they're required, and they do put out a lot of information. The problem is that even if you're an institutional investor, getting that information is very difficult. But more importantly, it's time consuming. If you're a retail investor, it's almost impossible to get that information, even though it's out there, as you said, in the ecosystem. Just getting the information is very difficult. So,
what information are we talking about here? We're not talking about like 10Ks and 8Ks, right?
Well, that's in part of it, but it's other things. It's just think about it. It's press releases, sort of blocking and tackling. It's presentations, which really educate investors on how companies are doing currently, and in the future. It's nowadays we're talking about. A lot of companies are doing videos, they're doing infographics. A lot of this information doesn't even get to Bloomberg. And, their Bloomberg investors are paying $35,000 a year or so to get everything. They don't get everything. So imagine an individual investor just is behind the wheel there. So we're talking about all kinds of information, not just the boring regulatory stuff, but a lot of information that companies want you to see to educate you, to get them to understand their story better.
Okay, so where can we find this information? If you insist that it's out there, and I'm assuming this because like I said, you worked for hedge funds for a long time, they have this information. How do I, as a retail investor, get said information?
Well, the easiest way is to go onto the BRON Investor Network app. So why do I create this, right? That was a nice lead-in. I appreciate that, Spencer. So what do we create this? We wanted to create an ecosystem where all investors can have access to this information easily. So think of us as an Expedia, but not for travel, but for corporate data. So we're an information aggregator And instead of creating a website or a database, what we did was we said, look, what is the future? Where are people accessing information, even for stocks? Well, you guys know better than anybody. They're on social media. So what we decided was to take this concept, take all this data, and instead of putting it just on a website, we created what we call a social network community. So if you go onto our app, it looks and feels like any other type of social media app, but it's very specific to this aggregating of corporate information. You go in, you follow, let's say, for example, if you're interested in cannabis, we have over 120 cannabis companies. You follow the 50 or 10 or 20, whatever cannabis companies you follow, and on your news feed, you're going to see everything these companies put out, not just what someone wants you to see, but what they actually put out. So as you mentioned, firms like yours and others, you get information all over the place, and you're obviously posting news, you're posting research. We don't post any of that. It's only thing we post right now is corporate information, what the companies want you to see and hear. And this is the trend, I think, that we're seeing, around the world, and certainly in the U.S. There's a monumental shift going in terms of market structure from institutional to retail.
But the first thing I think about when I hear like corporate information and investors not having access to it is like a lot of these foreign companies, frankly. And I hate to point the finger. I mean, but China has had problems with this, right? Where there have been companies that have IPO'd, and then weeks later, oh, wait a minute, they're under investigation from their own government. What? Right? And I don't know how much of that the companies knew or didn't know before the IPO, but it certainly is a bad look. So, whether you want to talk about China or any other emerging market, frankly, I mean, you said that there are disclosure laws out there, but I can't help but think that some of these companies are just not being upfront.
Yeah, I mean, China is a unique case. I would say that the disclosure around the world is better than the perceived disclosure, but China is a unique case. I invested there for over 15 years. Getting information from Chinese companies is challenging, not only because of the language barrier, but for obvious reasons. But interesting enough, I think the problem that we're seeing with the current Chinese companies today, again, is perception versus reality. And also the problem is the investment banks. I'm not a big fan of the investment banks, but they'll do these IPOs, they'll come out with these companies, they'll pump them up, and then 3 months later, there's no research, there's nothing, there's no information. Nobody knows how. No one could read. An average U.S. investor is not going to go into a Chinese website and start translating Chinese.
Of course not.
It's not going to happen. So there's a lot of people to blame for it. The companies are certainly part of the blame, but I say on the whole, China is not the greatest place for full disclosure, especially the ones that are listed only here or only in China. The ones listed in Hong Kong, they have a different kind of regulatory oversight. They're much better.
Can you give us an example of the kind of information that you saw in your time in the hedge fund world that the hedge funds had access to, that everyone else also has access to, but maybe doesn't know to look for it or doesn't even know where it is?
Sure, I'll give you two examples. One is a real easy example. Presentations, right? Every company does corporate presentations, either before a conference or before an investor conference or during their earnings call. So they do at least 4, 5, 6 presentations, very detailed presentations. I would say 90+%, 95% of the individuals or investors that are non-institutional but have no idea that these things exist. And these are incredibly detailed. There are companies that do 140-page investor day presentations or 50-page earnings presentations, which have incredible amounts of data that just doesn't get out there. So as a hedge fund manager, I had access to this information, not only because I went to different investment conferences and it was handed to me, but I knew that it was out there, so I knew how to get it. But that's one example. The other type of information that's out there that, it costs a little money, but sometimes is you have all this alternative data that's out there, especially with the foreign companies. People are analyzing ships going in and out of ports, that type of thing. Again, available to institutional investors, not available to individual investors. But that data is out there because somebody's grabbing that data, and it's not, it's Sometimes it costs a lot, sometimes it doesn't. But those are two extreme examples of information that we used. That's one is one is very easily available, one is not so easy. But again, all this information is out there in the web, but it's very difficult to find, and more importantly, it's incredibly time consuming.
So I'm assuming those presentations that you speak of they're on the app, right?
Yeah, everything that a company does, whether it's presentation, the video, that type of thing, is all on our application. Yeah.
What
ESG, by the way, which is a big topic, but a lot of ESG information.
I'm sorry, they're what?
Including ESG information. And the interesting part is that there are foreign companies, especially, and there are a lot of you are spending enormous amounts of money, $50,000 to $100,000 a year, just to do ESG information, put these giant reports together, and that information Bloomberg doesn't even publish that, a lot of it. So you guys aren't publishing, so it's out there, and a lot of especially Gen Z investors really, but they never see it.
What kinds of companies, or how many companies, or what kinds of companies are on? Is it every public company you have on the app, or what? How does that work?
No, we have right now in emerging markets, mainly South America, we've got close to 500 companies, and in the U.S. we've got certain sectors like cannabis, we've got clean energy, and blockchain. So we're expanding that way organically.
Got it. All right, Thomas Samuelson is the founder of the BRON Investor Network. I would encourage everyone to check out the app. You can go to the App Store, I'm assuming Android and Apple, and just search for BRON, BRON, and you'll find it right then and there. And that's it. Thomas, have a great rest of your day. Thanks
Spencer.
joining us today on Benzinga Live.
Appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right, man, guys, it just got like hella dark. Like, holy cow. It just got can you guys tell? Did my lighting just change? It just got really, really dark outside. Wow. Sorry, I've seen clouds before, I swear. All right, we're talking about Shiba Inu in the chat. I guess that's as good a time as I need to do our crypto update. Let's get my heat map up on the screen right now. Crypto. Where you at? There you are. All right, we're talking about SHIB, which we'll get to in a second, but this is what the heat map looks like today. You can see it is as red as it's been, frankly, in for the past couple of days. I don't know, what is XMR? Oh, that's Monero. I haven't seen that one on this heat map for a while. Monero's up, and Tron, right? That's TRX. That's Tron coin. Yeah, Tron is up. Everything else is down. Now, I see y'all talking about Shiba Inu. So explain to me what happened here. The founder, the Satoshi equivalent for Shiba Inu, just like said peace out and just dipped. Is that what I understand? He just deleted his social media profile and said he was going away, and that is that. Let's bring up a chart of Shiba Inu. Right here. Okay. Yeah. So we're basically back to where we were before that massive October pump. 0.00001122. Does anyone here own SHIB? I don't. Yeah. I'm just catching up on the chat right now. Yeah, it's crazy dark right now. And now there is a storm coming. People are at the windows. Is it bad over there? Yeah. It's bad over here, too. Bro, this tree's about to break. Dude, it is really bad out there. Quick story. When I moved to Michigan in 2015, right? And I'd never really been to the Midwest before. And on my first day of work at Benzinga, we were in a different office back at the time. Oh my God, look how dark it is. And we were in a different office in the suburbs, and there was a sign on the door of the bathroom, it said like this is your tornado safe room. If there is a tornado, like this is where you go. And I was like, what the fuck? Tornadoes? Where did I just move to? Because I'm obviously in the East Coast, we don't get twisters like that. But Raphael, I'm in Detroit, Michigan right now, and it's like pitch black outside. It's pitch black outside, and it's pouring all of a sudden, and it's really, really dark, and I'm scared. Hey, AB on the street weather report. What say you? What say you right now?
You got a raincoat for me?
I do not have a raincoat for you, no, unfortunately.
Holy shit! Look at on camera. It looks worse than it does in real life.
Looks pretty bad in real life. I'm just saying. All right, we've all seen clouds before, so let's maybe move on. But
this is like nighttime edition.
it is. It's like remember the solar eclipse. It's what this is.
I do remember the solar eclipse. Do you know where the best place in the country to watch a solar eclipse was?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Close, Columbia, Missouri.
Okay. All right. Yep. Exactly. Bear market confirmed.
This is the side of the office.
Oh my land.
Dude, guys, look at that.
Tommy, say what up.
Tommy, you're on camera. What's up, man? Wait. Serious question. Are we getting a tornado? Does anyone know?
Yeah,
It kind of feels.
a weather warning, and it said 60 mile per hour wind.
60 miles per hour wind. Oh man.
I'm just gonna text my mom, tell her I love her.
Wait, Ron, can you go back to that shot? I'm sorry, the overhead shot real fast. Oh my gosh. It doesn't even look that bad from there.
No, it's still zoom in or out.
Wait, Rohan, I think your mic is off, man.
Just a little bit.
Okay, you want me to zoom in or out?
I don't know. Zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
And this is our office, by the way, everyone. Everyone say hi to the Benzinga people that don't know they're on stream right now.
Yeah, me too, Randy.
But, all right. Oh, man, this is crazy. See, Richard Judge says you can go outside. You can do it.
I could.
I could. I just doesn't want to. It doesn't want to. I hear you, man.
You would feel real bad then if I got struck by lightning.
I would feel really bad. Yeah, holy cow.
I'm gonna pull.
Okay, so wait, I was talking about Shiba Inu, and then I got distracted. Did you hear about this?
What about it?
The Shiba Inu guy vanished.
Like with all the money?
The founder. No, not with all the money.
He's just missing.
He just said, "I'm going away now. Peace out, everyone." And then he deleted all his social media profiles and everything.
All right, hold on. I'm getting ready for. I'm checking the
weather report.
I'm checking the Doppler.
I've never actually seen I would say it does look worse on screen than it does in real life. It's not actually that blackout, but it is very dark.
Oh, the storm's supposed to be passed through in like an hour.
Wait, Andy, did he actually take the money? I'm sorry. Did I misinterpret or not read?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he had already made a bunch of money from Shiba. So I'm just curious. Did he ride off into the sun? Is he out in the Bahamas somewhere just chilling, or did he get abducted?
Well, I don't think he's abducted. But here's the thing: I pulled the chart up, and you can see it. We've basically made a round trip in this thing. We're back to where we started, right? In October. So I've never understood meme coins. Frankly, I've never owned one. That's not to say I didn't. I haven't wished I owned one. I certainly had. I had some crazy Dogecoin FOMO, back in the day, like six months ago. But I've never owned a meme coin. I don't understand the purpose of owning a meme coin for owning something for the meme. That's just me. I think, and we had the guy on the show, and was he all in on Sheeb? The guy we had on the show?
No, he had, by the time we had him on the show, he had sold a lot of it. He had just happened to be an early investor in Sheeb and made a bunch of money on it. But he was still a proponent of it.
Great for him. But I don't understand what there is to argue here about. I don't understand. I don't understand the bull case. Let me just put it that way. I don't understand. Like Richard Judge says he's still holding some sheep. Why? Genuine question. Why? I've never understood. Not that I've looked particularly hard. I haven't. But I've never understood Sheeb or Doge or anything like that. Heck, I barely understand Bitcoin and ETH, and I own that. So, Suzanne says the Shiba Inu dude always said he would disappear. So yeah, I'll read you what he said. He said, this is a direct quote from Ryoshi. I have said from the beginning, I am a nobody. I am not important. The efforts to unmask my identity, even if successful, would be underwhelming. I am just some guy of no consequence tapping on a keyboard, and I am replaceable. I am Ryoshi. All right. Well, there we have it. I guess it depends on the projects that are on. Yeah. See that, but that's one of the things I don't get, right? You've got the argument for certain cryptos is, oh, there's great projects on this network, on this blockchain. But then that same argument can be used as a bull case, as a bull thesis for the actual project. So like, it's a circular argument, right? Like, oh, you've got a project you have 4 projects on the Shiba Inu network. Oh, that's an argument for Shiba Inu. Oh, wait, look at Shiba Inu, and all the projects it has. Then its stability. That's an argument for these projects because they're on a good network. And it's just circular argument, and I just don't buy it. Sorry, don't buy it. Is Palantir a meme stock? We have not talked about Palantir in weeks.
Yeah, I was never really into Palantir.
I bought it and sold it twice, I think. Let's bring up the Benzinga Pro. If you guys don't know what Benzinga Pro is, it is the engine of this company. Everyone gets a free 2-week trial. Go to pro.benzinga.com. It's our real-time research tool, news, headlines, audio squawk, research tools, news, ratings, charts, data, everything. Anyway, Palantir. Let's go to a daily chart. It's been quiet. Oh, it almost filled the gap there. What's that low from that gap? That low is 942, and we got to 885 yesterday. All right. Well, if you're short-term bullish thesis, stocks like to fill gaps. Maybe this thing goes back to 942 in the next couple of days.
Maybe.
Couple of weeks. I've traded this thing a few times, but I don't know. No one knows what they do. And do they have real revenue? Sure, but they're not profitable as I understand it. Let's look at look at the forward PE. It's 54. That's still crazy. And look at the price to sales. It's 10. This is still a very expensive stock.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
And it's in that group of kind of Cathie Wood ARK names that do you want to be holding that in this environment? I mean, there will be a time at some point in the next few years probably where growth comes back in favor and people are buying up these names again. People are willing to put money down for these names, but that time's not right now. So to me, Palantir wasn't interesting back when growth was in favor, and it's not interesting now.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Zen Bullish, I'm seeing a lot of ads for Pelotons discounted, actually. So, yeah, apparently. Damn. It's pretty crazy stuff out there. All right, let's do this. Did I upload an updated earnings calendar for the week? I don't think I did. Let me check. Yeah, I did. There it is. All right, who do we got tonight? Tonight's Wednesday. We got GameStop tonight.
Ooh, really?
Yes, GameStop. We got Chewy. Hey, Rohan, I think your mic is on. Producer Rohan.
Did you see that shit? Or was that Rohan? Yeah.
Yo, AT, turn Rohan's mic off, I think. His mic is on. We got GameStop tonight. We got Chewy tonight. We got some retail. PVH. Philip Van Heusen. We got HPE. And we got a couple beaten down growth names. C3AI and UiPath. And Viva. Isn't Viva a solar play? I don't know. None of these really interest me. I mean, GameStop is what it is at this point. PVH actually could be interesting because a bunch of these retailers had pretty strong reports, like Express and Capri Holdings this morning. Let's pull up the PVH chart. Very beaten down. Expectations probably higher based on what Capri Holdings just said today. Any thoughts on Asana? They have earnings tomorrow. Do they really? Were they on the calendar?
Asana is?
Wait, Asana has earnings tomorrow? Are you sure?
Let's check.
Yeah? They do? I don't think they're on my calendar.
I can't imagine they're going to be good
Um,
based on the stock price.
What did Monday.com say? They already reported, did they not? They reported on May 16th. Okay, so let's go to the news feed. And let's go to May 16th. All right, Monday.com reported an EPS slightly above estimates, earnings per share, sales a little bit above estimates, Q2 sales guidance above estimates, fiscal year sales guidance. All right, so they came in above estimates across the board. Now, what did the stock do? This is the closest peer we have to Asana. So what did I say, May 16th? Let's go to a 15-minute chart here, and we zoom way out. Here perfect. This is it.
I honestly don't mind if
that's
Monday
not-
gave a bad report if you were trying to play Asana, because all that's doing is setting the bar lower. So that if Asana does beat, then it becomes even more
This is not.
unexpected. Whoa.
Wait, was it May 15th or 16th in the morning? It was crap. Okay, I need to do a change my time frame here because hold on. Let's go to a 30-minute. No,
Patrick Starr saying I should YOLO some calls. We will see.
Hold on.
Online Google search. No.
Here we go. Okay, so May 16th. So let's zoom in here. The morning of the 16th. So right here. This is where I'm at. So this was their earnings report. So really not a lot happened, right? It opened higher in the morning, traded down, came back. Very little movement on this on Monday.com, the earnings report. And you can see it even in the ensuing days too. Not a lot of activity. All right, cool. So pretty muted reaction to Monday. Now back to Asana, which was the question at hand here. The bar probably couldn't be any lower than it is.
Yeah, where can this thing even really go? It's already at $20, right?
Oh, it can go to 10.
I mean, it could still go down another 100%, hypothetically.
Yeah. I would say this. I don't know who asked about this in the chat. I don't know if you're long or you're short or what your deal is. David Lynn, I don't know if you have a position or if you just want to have a position. But I would use Monday as my guide, Monday.com. I wouldn't expect too big a move. What is the expected move here? That's also helpful to know. The expected move on Asana is... Whoa! Holy crap! Is that right?
What does it say the expected move is?
Is that like 28%,
Which would be $4 or $5. I would think that's legit.
It's like almost $6. That's a big move. $6 for a $21 stock? All right.
I would think there's more alpha in playing the upside here, because I think if they miss, I would assume Asana goes down another.
Well, what's that low? 2086. What's that low? So wait, what's this low? Hold on. What's that low is 17, and what's that low? 17, 18. Oh man, this is so tough. What did Brian Shannon just say? Don't buy stocks in F and downtrends. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Wait, was there lightning behind us? I didn't see it.
Wow, Telluron's making a nice move, up 3% since I said earlier that it could be that could be news to buy the dip on a company that's obviously in an uptrend.
Really?
Just a little offering.
Goes to show. All right, we got an hour left in the program here. We're going to have Jesse Kaylor on in a half hour, talk about what he's trading. And, yeah, that's basically all we've got going on here. It's a pretty quiet day, besides the hurricane behind us.
Yeah. It
Not hurricane.
It looks like it's calmed down a lot, but it's still very dark outside.
Not hurricane.
Although it's not as dark as it looks like on the screen again. It's pretty dark out there, though. For the middle of a summer day, it should not be this dark outside.
It's true. Okay, what other things hadn't we that were on our list that I wanted to get to?
I have something else. So,
Oh, you were gonna give me your. Oh no, not you. That was Rohan. Rohan was gonna give us his
video to play.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there. Rohan was gonna give us his honest review of Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, well, I can do that. Let me get my headphones on 1 sec.
Can y'all hear Rohan? Is his mic
right.
on?
Top Gun Maverick. Great movie.
Ray, Rohan, is your camera on or no?
No, but I can put the ceiling camera on me 1 second.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. So if you guys have seen the original Top Gun, I actually, okay, to be fair, I think I watched the whole thing, but I was halfway sleeping through it. I'm not normally one who does that, but it was just a really, I don't know, tiring day, I guess. But for the normal Top Gun, I'd say it's a solid movie, but this is a lot more entertaining, at least by today's standards. Overall, I would say definitely go watch it. I'd say probably top 2 to 3 movies of the year, I would say.
Whoa. Well, wait. You mean in the theater or just overall?
In the theater overall, but definitely a one that you want to watch in theaters,
All
and
right.
probably on IMAX. There are a few movies I would say that for. This is one of them.
All right.
I don't know if I really like watching movies on IMAX.
No, I hate
What?
that. I hate it.
What?
Bree, I am not a big fan of watching movies on IMAX.
Why?
Okay, you have to get the perfect seat, otherwise,
Yeah, I agree.
half your
Only
vision's
Rohan here.
All right. So what is the perfect seat?
I feel
Let's
like
talk- let's talk-
I've
It's like
I've
back
had
row
more
center.
bad experiences, and maybe I don't think I've seen a movie in an IMAX theater in honestly probably 10 years or so, maybe more. But I feel like even as a kid, I don't know, just
So let's
I feel
clarify.
like it's easier to just look at a screen and watch. the movie.
There's two kinds of IMAX screens, right? There's the IMAX Dome, and then there's
Yeah, the IMAX Dome is just a solid no. But
Oh, that's what I was talking about. That's what I thought an IMAX theater is.
No,
there's IMAX
no.
70 millimeter,
No.
which is just the type of film it was shot on and how it's projected. It's
wait,
the size of the
wait.
image.
IMAX Dome is a yes, Rohan. Are you kidding me?
Okay, wait, hold on. By IMAX Dome, do you just mean the slightly curved screen?
No.
No. I mean, I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, screw that. I don't want to watch a movie like that. It's work to look around the screen, You don't want to be moving your head around.
I want a screen that is 50 times the size of a normal screen. The bigger, the better.
Okay, point being, though, I would watch this movie in particular, right?
All right.
On just standard IMAX. It doesn't need to be the Dome, although watch it on a Dome if you want to. There are 1 or 2 little gripes I had with it. I think they were trying to be really artistic, and it ended up being annoying maybe 1 or 2 times where they use this technique. It's called dirtying up the frame. They did it in the Batman, and basically it's the back of the lens is adjusted so there's an out of focus section even though it should be in focus, and it really confuses your brain. I think it's cool in some shots, but anything with text in it, like name badges or whatever, really makes you feel like you're having a terrible time reading something.
Wait, I have a question. How much lens flare is in this movie?
Not a lot.
Good.
No. The lens flares are, I don't even
We're
know
getting
if
really
I saw any.
technical here.
Yeah, but okay, technical things aside, I get excited about the technical stuff because how they shot this is insane. If you don't know, there are many shots where Tom Cruise is piloting a jet, and he's also operating the cameras inside because obviously no one can be in there to do it.
That's crazy.
And they custom designed cameras for this, where they split a cinema camera in half just so it fit in the cockpit and attached it with some cables and whatever. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. The fact that they actually had him in jets. Of course, some of the other actors were more so in the back of the jet and pretending like they were flying it when they weren't actually flying it. But they had plenty of time. They all got their pilot's license. It's kind of crazy what they did to accomplish this movie. Beyond that, it's just a solid story. The romance is slightly cheesy. But if you're not there for that, just the action sequences are next level. Probably some of the best I've ever seen.
Awesome. All
So
right.
if you're a fan of action movies, go check it out.
Definitely. Great review. Thank you to producer Rohan. And that was Rohan's desk and producer Aaron Thomas's desk. And my desk was also in that shot for a little bit there.
Hell yeah.
But I was going to bring up I was going to go back to the markets here. But you had something you wanted to say before, and then we got distracted on the Top Gun thing. What was it that you wanted to add? I wanted to talk about
Well, so a couple things. So on
Yep.
the most recent Odd Lots episode, which is the
They
Bloomberg.
talked about copper.
Yes.
Yeah,
You knew. So
I did know.
I listened to this, and I had no. I wouldn't say I knew nothing about copper, but I would say the extent of my knowledge on copper was very limited before
Yes.
listening to this.
As
The
is-
guy that
as is most
they were
people's.
interviewing is Nick Snowden. He is
No relation to Edward.
I do not believe so. He is a metals strategist at Goldman Sachs. And actually, I was doing some more research on this Nick Snowden guy, so I was like, oh, maybe we should invite him on our show if he's doing the media rounds. But he's been bullish copper for a very long time. I found a clip of him on CNBC from like 10 years ago saying why he was extremely bullish copper. And actually, for a while, copper was trading lower after that for a couple years, and then it made its rounds back. But essentially, the point being that was expressed on the episode was just that copper is becoming more and more important. Like, it's always been an expensive commodity that we've used in our infrastructure, in our building, right? For water pipes, copper. I don't know. I think that's a little old. I don't think people are still using like copper pipes, maybe for some things, but this is more for technology, like for batteries. So for EV batteries.
Let me pull up is there a copper? There should be copper ETF, yes?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Copper. Actually, maybe not. It might be a little bit too. Oh, there is. Oh, there's a miners. Copper miners. COPX. Oh wait, no. JJC. Okay, so finish the thought. Sorry, I'll pull up the chart. Yeah, here we go. This is an ETN, but same difference.
So, let me pull up. So, and I know Joe was.
Thank you, Mama in the chat beat me to it. Shelly says CPER. Really? Yeah, you guys know things. Really?
So, yeah. So if you're interested, Joe Weisenthal, one of the hosts of the podcast, also posted a transcript of it saying why copper could surge 10x over the next decade. And something interesting that he's talking about is that just with how much talent as in terms of labor has gone to tech, not a lot has gone into mining over the past decade or so, which has caused the rate of production to grow at a slower rate for the mining industry. So essentially the idea is if copper continues to become more expensive, then more and more labor will flow into there, thus increasing productivity of the miners. So could be an interesting thing to watch if copper really ends up being, the next thing that we all need in whether it's electric vehicle, new machinery, new appliances. And I've got to do more DD on this, but Spencer, after listening to just this hour-long podcast, I'm considering buying some copper stocks.
Well, as we just went through, there really aren't many. So
Well, those are ETF. I mean, there's
here.
Well, there was one I was looking at
Well, like
earlier.
Newmont got mentioned in the chat. Is that the big one? Let's go look at
No, there's one big one I was looking at. Southern Copper, SCCO.
SCCO.
It's a $47 billion market cap.
Wait.
Like that.
Let's get the chart up on the screen now. Come
A
on.
5.83% dividend yield, like that.
Okay. Let's zoom out on this chart.
14 PE. Don't mind that.
All right.
Typically, miners are pretty cheap.
Yeah. I mean, that's not.
No, it's not very cheap compared to other miners.
Yeah,
but,
that's not cheap. It's not expensive.
No, exactly.
It just is.
But the thing I like about this, and this is again from doing some very preliminary research, and I want to do more research on just the copper in general to see how sound this thesis is. But I like the fact that this is a very developed company, right? I would not feel good about buying shares of a, kind of rinky-dink miner company that doesn't really have full-fledged operations or profits or revenue. So this one does look interesting to me, though. And I will report back after
right.
I do some more DD.
right.
I don't know if you'll be here, but I'll report back.
Duly noted. You can always text me.
I'll text you.
By the way, I will put my email up on the screen. Again, if you guys want to send me an email, you're free to do so for the next couple of days. And after that, you'll have to DM me on Twitter. I'm pretty responsive in my DMs. I feel like if you DM me, I respond to almost everyone except for the weirdos out there. But that's my email, my work email. Want to shoot me a line? Tell me why I suck, then you can do that. All right. What else? Okay, so you want to talk about that. I want to talk about Amazon. Look at Amazon again, Aaron. Second day in a row that the stock is green and the whole market is red.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Amazon shareholders.
I thought the stock split run-up trade was dead. I thought we were over this.
I guess not.
I thought stocks no longer trade. I thought that was a 2020 phenomenon.
Well, Google's going into a stock split as well. How's Google doing?
That's mid-July.
Oh, really?
And Shopify is end of June.
Okay.
But Amazon clearly running into its split the end of this week. I am surprised by this. I really am.
Yeah, Amazon's interesting right now because what was basically confirmed in the last earnings report is that its main core business of its retail, people just ordering goods off Amazon to get delivered to your house wasn't really doing that well / isn't really doing that well, nor is it really profitable at all. Investors, I think, at this point are really only buying Amazon for its AWS service and the current revenue that Amazon is bringing in from that and the expected future revenue. I even saw a thing that's from some investment bank. They were doing the modeling and they basically valued Amazon's that side of Amazon's business, the consumer facing shipping side, as like a zero, as a wash. Like it wasn't even worth anything. Basically, they were just looking at the revenue that Amazon was bringing in from AWS. So unless Amazon is able to prove that it can make that side of it in a way that's profitable in a non-negligent way, then or a non-marginal, a way that makes a significant impact on the company's bottom line, because right now I don't think it is.
I just think there's really not very many opportunities you get to buy a stock like Amazon down $1,000.
That's true.
Right? Now, we could talk all day about a re-rating of tech multiples. Is Amazon and are all these mega caps really worth what they've been worth? But as Aaron just went over, it's not as if this company they have money, they make money, they have a bottom line. So near-term headwinds, but if you believe that Amazon is an incredibly well-run company, as I do, then I see no issue, buying the stock on dips for a long-term thing. I got no problem with that. It's Amazon. It's literally like the second or third most valuable company in the world, or top 5. Actually, I don't even know what the top 5 is right now. I know Aramco is number 1, Apple's number 2. Amazon's got to be somewhere around there, I'm imagining. All right, cool. How is Fortuca? How is Snapchat doing? Dude, new low. Oh, that's on a weekly. This is a daily. Holy cow. That's brutal. All right, whatever. We weren't supposed to bring Jesse on until 1:30, but I see him in the background. You want to just bring him on right now?
Should we bring Jesse on?
I figure what the hell. It's not like we got that much else to do. Just kind of hanging out. Let's get Jesse Kaylor on the show from Elite Trading. Oh, Fitbit. I remember when Google bought Fitbit, Richard. What, $2 billion? Fitbit IPO'd at $10 billion valuation and sold for $2 billion.
Jesus.
Or no, maybe they didn't IPO at 10. They got to, the stock went up to 10 billion. And then it went off the board at 2 billion. So, tough break. Jesse. That's funny.
Hey, it's Jesse. Sad to see Spencer go.
That is funny. Very clever. Very, very fun. I did not see
I got
that.
no kids today. I'm free.
Ah.
Free. We got.
Hey,
we're back
Jesse.
this summer.
Jesse, are the skies pitch black where you are? Because you're not that far away from us.
No, we're not supposed to get any storms till like 4. It's like 84 and sunny and beautiful.
All right. It's getting lighter out now, but the skies were stormy a few moments ago.
I
Cool.
like my face right now. You got the dark side coming, dark side, light side. So we're.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're like Harvey Dent over there.
That's exactly it.
Excuse me.
So, how's life, man? How's the market treating you?
Good. Same as it's been lately. Just a lot of the calls we've had have been, just slight wins and a couple losses, here and there, just like everybody else. But we've been really doing good on selling those out of the money calls that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. Just looking at stocks, looking at the math, and if they're keeping in a 5% range or whatever range they're trading in over a weekly period or monthly period, then you just sell outside that range and and continue to do that until it doesn't work. It's kind of been working for us. We called out the main call out from last week from us was Twilio, the TWLO. We Aaron almost he said he was kind of liking it as well, and I don't know if he did take a dab, but we were in the 90s when we called it out, and then all week long it's been nothing but nice easy trade for us. But we got out 2 days ago. It was a pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't actually gotten into this one yet. This is on like the top of. It's on my list of companies that are in the basket that have gotten clobbered the most that I do want some exposure to. That it's like, all right, if not now, then it's down 75%. And I think there's some other of those kind of, I don't know if you would consider this mid cap, but just right below the mega. It's about a $20 billion market cap, just something that's not the 100 billion.
I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Just gotta step away for 1 second.
29.
27.
Everybody, I'll be the man in blue in the corner when Spencer gets back. But yeah, how you been doing, Aaron? Any trades you got going on that you want to tell me about? I know you've talked about it all day here. I mean, other than that, I've been selling the calls and.
I bought some of that Tellurion, or I don't even know how to say it, but I bought it earlier. Ticker TELL.
Okay.
It was down about 8%. I bought some on the show actually. Let me see the exact time I bought it at. And I'm up 5.5%. I didn't even trade any options on it. I just bought the stock outright, and I'm up already 5% on it.
Nice. I
bought it at 1207. I've held it for.
That was Genus though. Sorry to interrupt. I thought you were done. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I've held it for an hour with 5%. That's not bad. If I could do that every time, then I'd be fine.
I took 1,000 and $1,000 just for like some fun and just kind of being just bored trading in a way. And I bought like Genus and some like really dollar penny stocks and everything like that from the last few days, just going in, just finding things that, like you said, that were beaten up, but I was going into the even higher risk. And it was almost because everything looks so much like it did in when COVID 2 years ago in the May area, when everyone was like, man, these things are everything's just so bad off. It was almost kind of this throw the dart at the board and, hope you hit. And a lot of people got lucky and hit. And I think that there's going to be another run here soon on some of these beaten up stocks. So you said 70%. You take a stock that's $1 and they're down at 10 pennies, 10 cents, 11 cents, 20 cents, something like that. Sometimes to me, that's just almost, it's an easy 5 to 10, 20, 30% that you can gain over pennies, and that's where, for me, it's fun to open up your portfolio and see a stock up 5, 6 pennies and you're up a couple $100, So that's been something I've done just for fun. Not recommending that for anybody, obviously, out there. Especially if you're brand new, don't just go out there throwing your money away on penny stocks. But it has been something that's been on my radar. Looking at seeing like the AMC movements lately, the GME movements. Looking at some of the meme stock kind of getting some life again, especially with like the Genus news with Disney and the Marvel thing. There's news that could be starting to come out a little bit more, and little things have died down. So usually that's when the hype is hype, it's hype. In my opinion, when it's all everyone's talking about it, then I kind of don't want to be involved. But then when everyone cools off and the story kind of cools down, and then you have time to look at the 10 different things that are going on and find the one that you believe in. It's kind of been, I think that's where we're at now, at the point in the market where people are choosing, okay, I can actually put some money aside and buy into some companies that I believe in, or I think there could be some long-term some gains like Twilio and the Apples of the world, and even the SoFis of the world that we've spoken of, and we talked about gambling stocks being beaten up.
And that's how, I mean, and I know these there's a lot of different ways to be trading these markets, but I think the thing that I've been doing most actively is adding to some of these names that I do want to hold long term, just because right now I feel more convicted doing that than trading anything in the short term, whether it's going short anything or long anything. But names, like Twilio, like I just added some Rivian in my Roth IRA a couple weeks ago, where it's like, hey, look, this thing's down to like $25 when I added it. It's either going to do really well over the next 10 years, or it'll be cut in half and I'll be fine, because it's not too big of a position in my portfolio.
Right, and everyone tells us all the time that we're young. I don't feel as young. I'm not as young as you, but I'm I still have some time left to invest some money that I don't necessarily, if things go bad in the long run, I'm just going to buy more. That's kind of the way I'm at, where I'm at now is taking that. I trade for fun with certain portfolio amounts, and you have these things that you do for trading and you call it fun. It could be $5,000 for you or $100 for others, but you take these accounts and you can just do some fun stuff with it. But if we're talking long-term investments, then anytime I buy anything, I kind of plan on not looking at it for a while. I mean, for 6 months, a year, I might not even look at that portfolio, and I'm just taking 10% of my weekly income or profits and putting it in there and just buying, a pool of stocks, 15 to 20 stocks. That's kind of the investing mindset. But
yeah, and I like that. Just for those names that you plan on holding long term anyway. Just why even look at them? I find myself still checking out my long term portfolios, but I'll check them out, but not really do anything about it. I'll see, like, I won't care if it's down 5% in a week or whatever, but I can see why someone may be like more incentivized then at that point to, I'll trade this or buy this.
Absolutely. And I wanted to, address the chat there too, because I see some people coming to my defense, which is great. Thank you. But, when you're looking at those penny stocks as well, you have to have a stop loss in place, and what I would call a laddered stop loss that helps you out, where you have part of your trade coming out at different levels where you feel like if it's going to break these levels, you want to get out, because on some of those stocks, the liquidity can be a problem, and once they start dropping, it might blow past your stop loss and or a halt. So that's why you want to have some, I call them ladders. You just ladder them down to where you feel, 5 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents. I want to get out of this trade.
So like hypothetically, Jesse, if you own 100 shares of a certain penny stock, you would throw an order, a sell stop, for 10 shares every 5 cents, or
more
what?
Like 25 shares, and I would set it to say, okay, I want to have a 5-to-1 risk reward or a 2-to-1 risk reward on the penny stock, where I'm trying to sell a profit at 2 to 3 cents, and I'll get rid of it at 2 to 3 cents, or whatever, 4 to 5 cents, 2 to 3. So you set those, and you get your parameters on whatever your risk reward ratio is. Usually, you want, in my opinion, you want to be on these smaller stocks. You want to be kind of a little loose, in my opinion. So I would probably put like a 10-cent run up to a 5-cent drop, and I've got a little more risk on, and I'm going to do that with different intervals, because if the trade is going my way and I hit that first 25 in that area, I'm going to set them all at a certain level at the beginning, but I want to let you want to adjust as well. So if the stock goes, if I wake up in the morning and it's up 15 cents and I just closed on profit on 25, and I still have those 3 orders in place, at higher profit targets that haven't hit, then I'm going to pull the risk up. I'm going to lower my risk, and I'm going to pull that stop loss up to where I'm back to even. So I will adjust things as they go. It's just all about how the trade forms and how it's going.
Yeah, that's been one of my biggest the biggest challenges for me in the little trading that I do, especially on on day trades is, having whether it's a firm stop, a hard stop, or even just a mental stop, and just like deciding like in the moment to call an audible, which is, has probably for every time that's worked out for me, it's worked against me like 4 times. So I've had a very hard time personally, just like doing what you just described, and like changing the plan.
Right. Once you change the plan, it kind of goes against you sometimes.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for me to sort of manage that.
And you've got a lot on your plate as of still today, so it's hard to trade with what you have going on throughout the day as well. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
staring at it, but at the same time,
that's the what? If you see me back here in like a month, it means I lost all my money day trading. That's basically what that means.
I don't think that's gonna.
Nah, it probably won't happen.
I hope
you're quitting your job to be a day trader. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. I'm still soliciting good ideas for what I should do with my life, starting next week.
Get married, have babies, live happily ever after.
Well, I can't do that stuff right away. That stuff takes time. So, okay.
We'll text about that sometime, man. We can have a Zoom lunch sometime while you're gone.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. It's not like I'm going to be a stranger, and it's not as if I'm never coming back to. I would like to stop by the Benzinga office.
We'll see.
We'll see if they'll let me back in. I don't know if they'll let me.
I literally texted my wife and when I was typing the Jesse sad to see Spencer go, I was like, I can't believe that I never made it up there. And I was like, man, I got 2 days. Should I just go up at the door and be like, look who's here, surprise, with like a "Don't Go Spencer" shirt on or something?
Yeah. I wouldn't even know how to react to that.
Like a fangirl at the door with like a big stick with your head on it.
Yeah. No, when I announced it on Friday, I sort of dreading the moment, but I got a lot of people were very passionate, and people said a lot of nice things, and she was sharing it with my fiance over the weekend, and she was like, "Wow, these people actually like you." And I was like, "What do you think? What do you mean they actually like me? What do you mean they actually like me? What do you think I do here?"
We're not just using you for information.
So nice to me. She's so nice to me. I did ask her if she wants to come on the show. She said no. She respectfully refused, but it would have been cool. All right. Anyway, back to the stocks. Anything in the chat that you want Jesse to look at? Any tickers? Drop them our way, and Jesse can pull them up on his trading view and give his take on.
One of our local dealerships is going on just some local rants like I do sometimes, but we have a guy that's opened up a 4th dealership in the tri-state, and he just opened a brand new Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram store, fully modern, renovated, brand new building. Looks gorgeous. The opening's today. I'm actually going to go down there and check it out. But to me, it was just a sign to show. It's like, man, okay, they're doing so well with no cars on the lot, barren asphalt, 0 new cars, basic inventory. They're selling VIN numbers for cars that haven't even arrived yet. And I guess what I've learned is that some of the manufacturers they're giving you 180 cars, but they're giving them to you on paper on VIN numbers, and then as you sell them, they'll build them, and it's reducing some of the costs coming out of the plant for not building cars that aren't going to be sold. Whether it's like color combination packages that aren't working, and they'll learn quicker and adapt and start taking away packages that aren't selling because they know what's selling as they're selling them before they're even putting them. They're not even putting them together, because why put? In my opinion, I get it. Why put a moonroof on 30% of your cars and only 20% of the customers wanted them? So you just wasted the money and the manpower to build more vehicles that people didn't want, and then people have to discount them for people to buy them, even though they didn't want this under. If that makes sense. But kind of a large, sky view looking down to the retailer's view. It's different.
We got a few tickers here in the chat. Somebody asked about MongoDB, MDB. They report earnings. Is it tonight? It is tonight. They report.
Had some nice excitement.
I haven't looked at this stock in a
244 to
time.
260, and then from 260 back to 244 in about a heartbeat, and then you went to 238. This would be a moment like almost right now that you would say, okay, let's take a stab, have a 232 stop, and just look away with a profit taking at 50% of the previous move. where it broke down, in my opinion, it's a 243. So you have a let's set it up this way. So sometimes I forget people are watching. So
Yeah, me too. There's an old broadcasting saying that they use on ESPN a lot, and it's like a saying that they say before they go live, if you're feeling nervous, and the saying is nobody's watching, nobody cares, and I repeat that to myself sometimes. Nobody's watching, nobody cares. Although in my case, it may actually be true.
Everyone cares. No, we all care about you. No, so something like that. I mean, you're bouncing off support. If it breaks down, you're probably going to hit that stop loss around 237 to flush people out. So sometimes I'll be just staring at this, and it's either am I committed? Do I want to take it and just say, I want to carry this overnight? Then I would probably pull this down a little bit, or carry it over the week and pull this up and give myself more reward, a little more risk. But if I'm looking at it to get in for a quick bounce trade instantly, then you might want to see it flush down, tick this one out, and you get in right where it's ticking everybody out, and then just hope for it to come right back to that baseline, and you're just looking for a couple bucks.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what kind of trade you're looking at on that. I mean, and how much risk you have on.
Ali asking about Netflix. I wanted to bring up this chart. Aaron, you and I have not been on this page, or at least not on the show, in quite some time. We used to go to this page every week.
Looking at the top.
Looking at the Netflix top 10. Look at the engagement that Stranger Things season 4 has. It's almost off the chart.
Over everything.
It's almost off the chart. It's this thing has more hours viewed than the the rest of the list combined, right? So just in crazy engagement there for Netflix. Let's go to the chart now and take a look at that.
I watched I think 4 episodes.
I have not seen anything. Please, no spoilers. I have not seen anything.
I can't believe that person. No, I'm just kidding. But
oh shit! So Many Beats says they worked on the sets. That's awesome. Please, no spoilers. Some of us didn't get to watch it yet. That's me.
Hell yeah, So Many Beats. That's awesome.
So, I mean, yeah, look at that chart. It doesn't look like people cared too much about that.
No, and I mean, we were
maybe
talking
that's
about...
a bad thing, what just happened, is showing how bad the other shows are.
Yeah, we were talking about how last time was Squid Game, what this will mean for the company, and the next earnings report is when the company went down 30%. So
this is Netflix's model working against them, right? Because it's not as if Netflix makes more money from unless Stranger Things really is driving new subscribers, which maybe it is because it is such a popular show. But
what for a week and then or for 1 month you
exactly
watch the whole show.
Exactly.
I did the same thing for Game of Thrones.
Exactly. Maybe it drives new subscribers for a month, but that's probably it, right? And that's Netflix's. That's the model. That's a feature, not a bug. So, I still haven't come around on Netflix and streamers at large. I know the other streamers are still growing their audiences or growing their subscriber base, and Netflix isn't. At least it wasn't last quarter. And I still haven't come around. I still just don't. To me, the model itself just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm out.
Well, I mean, I think right now with Netflix is how many subscribers they have. If everyone was paying what they pay right now for the next 20 years, then Netflix has made you would.
The only way I see them getting better is if they have to acquire something that makes people already have to pay for something, so they can add to their pricing of their subscription. They have to do something to whether it's. I think they were talking about gaming, but
wait a minute, Shelly's on to something here. So the season is split into 2 parts. When does part 2 come out? Part 2 comes out. I bet you it comes out in July, right? Knowing how they do things.
I have no clue.
I'm trying to read this article without spoilers. I can't do it. Okay, I can't. Does anyone want to tell? Please enlighten us in the chat. July 1st. Okay, so they are waiting a month to release the second half of the season. So so maybe they get an extra 3 months worth of members, a little bit of a bump from this show.
Right.
You get new members watching for, at the end of May, and they renew at the end of June, and then they So
What about like DraftKings TV or something, or like maybe some eventual sports betting shows where people are on there watching and they can see their live bets pop up? And I'm just kidding.
I do think I've long said Netflix will have to get into live sports in some way. I mean, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of different ideas kind of floated around, right? Like, could Netflix get into gaming? Can they get into all these different?
They are doing the gaming thing.
Yeah, so. But it's just, and I think Stranger Things is actually one of the games they're working on developing.
I mean, that would be huge if they say, "Hey, by this end of 2 years, we're gonna, or whatever their launch day, we're gonna have a Netflix only video game." It's like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna send me a remote that I have to buy, like that plays like a controller that goes with their Netflix? Like that, you have to okay, I'm gonna upgrade to this package. You're gonna send me an Xbox controller / Netflix controller, and it's just gonna link up, or I have to buy a system. What are they gonna do? It's gonna be just you stream it right off your, if it's live streaming, but what give me some news here. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, let me see what's gonna happen. And I already noticed that they did try where you could play along with the shows, like choose whether the guy goes and wrestles an alligator or
on that one. They did that on that one Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, which I never finished that, by the way.
I did.
Bandersnatch? I never finished it. Was it good?
No, not
wasn't?
at all.
Oh.
Not at all.
Hey guys, the sun's out. The sun came out.
out, guns out, pulled them sleeves up.
Sun came out the very next day. What was I gonna say? That one Black Mirror episode I did not like. I liked other Black Mirror episodes, but not that specific one.
All right. To each their own. Hey, has anyone yesterday I think at the top of the show I did briefly mention wheat, I think. Were you here for that?
EED or H8?
Like WEAT, like the wheat ET the ETN there, because have you seen this thing? It's fallen off a cliff the last couple of days. I have no idea why. I don't follow the commodities very closely. But this has to be news. There has to be news here. Something related to the harvest is what I'm guessing.
So my wife is gonna have to eat white bread. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, yeah, don't joke about that. Because, no, wheat prices are going down.
Right.
So that would be good for you.
Good for us.
That'd be good for you. And
buy more wheat bread if I want to invest in wheat.
Exactly.
On that note, have you noticed that your bread spoils quicker these days? That's just a weird thing that I noticed.
Really?
What? No, I've not.
Yeah,
I don't really eat bread. So.
Maybe it has to do something with the shipping. It's taking longer to get here, so it's already closer to expiration.
Yeah. Do you go by expiration dates and sold by dates, or you just go by looks and smell?
Looks and smell.
It's good. It's like, what is it?
I use expiration is a soft guideline for me. I guess I'm like 50-50 on if it's past expiration. I don't know.
For 20 years, I had no idea there was a difference between a sell by and an expiration date. So I've always thought the sell by was like an expiration. That was really just like, hey, you got to sell it, but you still got 5-6 days after that.
Yeah.
So hey, don't throw away your food on the sell by date, guys. If you're trying to worry about inflation and your groceries that you're spending $200 on, you got a milk and a frozen pizza.
Speaking of food, some of these food stocks have been outstanding.
A quick joke for you. My friend said he put $20 in gas and his tank went from lowercase e to uppercase e today. I thought that was pretty fun.
That's good, dude. Gas by me. I've never paid in my life $5 a gallon for gas, but I almost did over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah, it was like we're up to the 480s.
Oh, my wife works for the pharmacy at Kroger, and we are definitely maximizing on her points, looking up, okay, we're going to switch to this soap because you get 10x fuel points this month.
Yeah,
and we're why not? Whatever.
All about the fuel points.
She gets $1 off almost every 2 weeks almost, and it's that's huge right now.
Nice.
Don't be using my phone number out there. Anybody that knows me personally, I have to switch that.
All right, Jesse Kaylor, Elite Trading. Jesse, anything we didn't talk about? Anything we didn't get to? I'm sure there are more tickers in the chat that I don't think we covered yet.
I got time unless you want to kick me out of here.
What about Teledoc? What about Teledoc for Ruben? TDOC.
Ruben, what do you want to do? You want to buy it, sell it, short it, long it?
Yeah, some more color would be appreciated, Ruben. Thank you.
Oh, I also did just get news that the verdict of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial will be announced at 3 p.m.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, and didn't it end on like Friday?
Yeah.
And they obviously had the weekend off.
Yeah.
So they deliberated for like one day.
I mean, they had a long weekend to think it over.
Quick hack: if you're a streamer or someone who does things like creating content, just go ahead and take the trending Johnny Depp stuff and make a your own
TikTok
video.
about it. Yeah,
we throw it on Facebook. You'll get your 10,000 per 15 views, like $1,000 from
Nice.
Facebook.
We should have been doing more of that on our TikTok. Admittedly, that's on me.
Oh, all you gotta do is take a anything that's viral, and then just make your own video next to it. It's gonna get you way more views.
I agree. I don't care either. I was just announcing it in case there is anyone out there who does care.
All right, Teledoc, Jesse, thoughts?
Teledoc. Well, I didn't get any more color, did I? But we'll say
No.
if I was looking at this thing, you've got 33 as a resistance level that you're going to have to worry about if it tries to climb back up to that level. That might be a good place to get out if you're long now with a $32 stop. Looking at it from right now point of view.
All right, 32 is the number.
But I mean, there ain't much meat on that bone, so it's up to you, really. I mean, you could sell the 36 calls and sell the $30 puts and let it ride between there for a week or so and try to get some of that premium. And I think a lot of people don't understand either that you can close that out if you sell that to someone, you can also close it at a profit before the end of the week. So,
Yo, do you guys see Affirm today? Affirm's getting punched in the mouth again. Stock had a nice week or so there, but
AFRN. Okay.
yeah, AFRM down 12% today, 13% now actually. Damn. Yeah, stocks and downtrends.
Stocks are.
Cars earlier. What about your Carvana?
Same thing. Same thing.
A media bloodbath.
Yeah.
Everyone is hating on them, and like every aspect. I'm big in the automotive industry, and they are just hammering these guys. Look at this.
Carvana.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Doesn't it just make you sad looking at that?
How about Spencer? We never talked today about Elon Musk and working remote. Did you see that?
I don't have a take. Do you have a take?
I don't really.
Wait, I don't even know what he said. What did he say? I don't even know.
He said an internal email link or leaked basically where he said everyone has to return to the office. And then one thing people were pointing out is in the email he says you're required to work a minimum of 40 hours a week in the office, and people were like, isn't that the like maximum amount of hours mandated to unless like someone's getting paid overtime? So people were questioning about that.
Dude, I haven't worked 40 hours a week since I started.
I know.
Since I started here.
And then he sent another one that said, to be super clear, everyone at Tesla is required to spend a minimum of 40 hours in the office per week. Moreover, the office must be where your actual colleagues are located, not some remote pseudo office. If you don't show up, we will assume you have resigned. The more senior you are, the more visible must be your presence, blah, 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 blah. Basically, I don't really have a take either. Like, I think it's fine. Like, Spencer, you and I both come into the office every day. I just know from a talent, like, recruiting standpoint,
it's
right?
Tough.
It's tough. Yeah. And, like, even, like, some of my friends right now that did start working remote have, like, said, like, yeah, I'll literally never go back to a full in-office job. There's just no reason to. You don't have to. So why would I? And if Ford, Volkswagen, some of these other Rivian, some of these other companies that truly want to take Tesla on, now would be a great opportunity for them to come in and say, oh, we'll match your salary and you can work fully remote, or we'll match your salary and you can come to the office 2 days a week. I mean, if you're a marketing executive and you're a team lead and you have 15 people reporting to you, there's really no reason you have to be in the office every day for 40 hours a week.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'm the like as my day job as the VP of sales for a media team. We don't. I mean, there's 9 guys that are. They're all
Wait. You have a job?
Yeah, I do. I took a job. Yeah.
I thought I thought this was your job.
I did. I'm gonna still do it. I'm not changing
Oh.
anything. I just added a new hat.
Good for you.
Yeah, someone came to me and just said, "Hey, man, give you an offer you can't refuse, and why not?"
All right, good.
And I'm working remotely 2 days a week for about 5 hours a day. I was like, you know what? Why not? And helps people with sales.
So I mean, yeah, if Tesla ends up losing like any executives of it, then it'll be okay. That was some mismanagement. That was silly. But if it doesn't, if it increases productivity, then we'll be saying Elon was right. He's a genius. And yeah, that actually there is a big push from a lot of Tesla workers to unionize right now. Tesla does not. They've been strongly trying to union bust those efforts. So.
Oh yeah. My friend works for a certain large payroll company, and they were supposed to get off for Juneteenth, and then they sent out a memo saying, "Actually, never mind, you're required to come in." And he was like, "This is bullshit." And I was like, "Dude, labor has the power right now. What are they going to do if you don't go? You think they're really going to if you don't show up to work that day? Think they're going to let you go? I think you could probably get away with it."
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a lead man. What's up?
Hurt Scrambler just dropped me enough money to get me about 1 gallon of gas. So I appreciate that. I don't even know how many miles that gets me.
Hell yeah.
Probably like 15.
Do you want to? What is your tentative plan for your road trip right now?
So the road trip is not going to happen for a while. We have a few trips planned, like in the interim. We're supposed to go to Florida, but that looks not likely now because someone has COVID. Not me, but the person I'm going to go see has COVID, so that's not going to happen. But we're going to Cedar Point, in Ohio, which is your neck of the woods, Jesse. Going there in a couple weeks. We're going to spend a weekend at the UP. I've never been to the UP before. The Upper Peninsula, for those of you not in the know or not from Michigan. Nobody that's not from here knows what the UP means. None of my family knows what that means, so I had to explain it to them. So we're going to the Upper Peninsula for a couple days. Going to take a few day trips, and then we have, or not me, but my fiance has family in Tennessee. Her sister lives in Tennessee, so we're going to go down to Clarksville, see her, and then we're going to drive down there. And on the way back, we want to end up in Chicago, so we're going to swing by Louisville, swing by Indianapolis, and this is where I said I might be in St. Louis, but I really don't know at this point. That's all kind of on the way from Nashville to Chicago, so that's going to be like middle of July, and then we're moving, and then that's it.
Did I didn't miss, like, you didn't announce like who's going to be replacing you, or is there not a replacement?
Wait, I thought we had already talked to you about that, Jesse. I thought you were coming on full time.
I didn't get any emails.
It's going to be a true team effort. Yeah. Producer AT, producer Rohan, Aaron Bree, Mitch, Zunaid, they're all going to step up.
Hell yeah.
They're all going to step up. And it's going to be a learning experience for everyone. But heck, I mean, the same thing happened to me because I joined Benzinga in September of 2015, and a month after I joined, the woman who was producing our morning show, Pre-Market Prep, she moved to California. So they were like, "Shit, we don't have a producer for the show. Hey, new guy, you're up." And I was
know how to run OBS, kind of. Let me watch.
So actually, they were like, no. Spencer and Luke are both going to be in charge, and like we both showed up on day one, and Luke was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this. You're doing this." So, I was like,
I remember when Luke was like, "Yeah, I'm out." He got to like an hour a day, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll see you guys."
Yeah, no, this was years ago, and Enver too. Yes, Enver is going to be stepping up hardcore. Our man Enver in the chat, and it'll be call it an experiment. Who's going to step up? Who's going to step? every responsibility that I have here is due to me just stepping up when we needed it. And so we'll see what
Way to
happens.
lead by example.
Yeah, look, we'll see what happens. And I will. It's not as if I have any new plans lined up, so I won't be a stranger. I'll keep you guys in the loop about my adventures. But we'll see.
We need to do the Adventures of Spencer channel and just have a
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing my. I've had several people be like, "Oh, start your own channel." I'm like, no, I'm not going to be doing that. I asked my fiance last night if I should do my own channel, actually, and she said her exact words were, "Do you know enough to do that by yourself?" And I was like, "Ouch!"
To do what by yourself?
Like, have a channel by yourself. Like, she's like, "Do you know enough about things to like do something by yourself?" I was like, "All right, I guess not." If
no, I need a backup and someone in my ear answer the question for me.
If you think I don't. So yeah, it's going to be a fun couple of days here. Jesse, it's been great talking to you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last half hour or so. And you know, I won't be a stranger. You still have my number. You can text me. I may or may not respond.
Am I still on for next Wednesday, AB? Or do I
don't know. You're going to have to talk to him about that.
I don't know. We're going to have to reassess everything once Spencer leaves.
All right, Bubba.
No, I'm kidding. Yes, you're on for next Wednesday.
All right. Well, you guys stay in the green. Thanks for having me on. My favorite show in the world.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, Jesse.
it. I just want to say that I wore a red shirt today because I thought the market was going to be down, and I was right.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you? So you bought puts yesterday?
No, I decided this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, I saw that Facebook is changing its ticker. Did you see that?
What'd you say?
Facebook is changing its ticker
That's old news.
to Meta.
That's old news.
It was news this morning.
Old news.
What?
No, it was old news, but they're finally.
Oh, it's old news that. Okay, so we have a date though. Thank
Yeah.
you, Randy.
Like next week.
I didn't know we had to. Excuse me, everyone. I didn't know that it was old news. They're going to change their ticker on June
9th, I believe.
Wait, I don't actually see it. I know we have a headline, but I can't find it in Pro because we have so many headlines. All right. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that if you didn't know. If FB will be no more. What is it? June 9th. Aaron Bree got it right the first time. Aaron, you're so smart.
Who needs Benzinga Pro newsfeed when you can just ask AB?
You got Ask AB, man. Ask AB. All right, let's keep an eye on the scanner. What is happening?
Well, speaking of, I guess we were just talking about those emails from Elon Musk. I am noticing Tesla's coming back a little bit from its lows of the day, but it is underperforming the market, which it had been leading the market. So maybe that's just a little bit of a reversion to the mean there. I'm not quite so sure that really means anything for Tesla. I mean, for Tesla to be down 3% a day is nothing really.
Oh, you know what I forgot? Shoot, we have a video to play from the Fintwit conference. I forgot all about that.
Have that take us.
This is Hot Stocks Luke Jacoby interviewing Justin Banks from Wolves of Wealth live. Well, this video is not live, but this interview happened in Vegas 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
Vegas?
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
Man, I don't know. Time just moves in a very.
And we had a bunch of, we had a whole setup there, and we did a bunch of interviews, and we were like, okay, well, what do we do with all these interviews? Let's just air them on our show. So here now is Luke Jacoby talking to Wolves of Wealth live from Vegas.
All right, everyone. Fintwit 2022. I am joined by Justin from Wolves of Wealth. Justin is primarily a small cap stock trader. Are you trading small cap stocks right now during all this volatility we're having?
Currently, right now, I am not. When we were in that bull market, I found that it was easier to trade, momentum stocks to small caps, because as we know, the risk to reward on those is pretty great. We can either have a great reward or we can have a great risk to them. And I feel like right now, the reward to risk is pretty low.
Okay.
We do have some nice pops. We still have runners over 100% on the small caps.
Yep.
Every once in a while, but not as much as before. I do find that options right now are the best for me and a lot of people.
Okay. So you're not trading small cap stocks. The market's
Yes.
too volatile for that.
Yeah.
You are trading options.
I am.
With regard to small cap stocks, that's a favorite of the individual investor. I have fun trading a lot of those stocks. What are you looking out for to start trading those names again?
I want to see a little bit more volume. I want to see a little more green in the market.
Okay.
But what I do to find them, I guess, I always go to see the top gainers every day. So I still look, keep my practice up. But right now with the team, focusing more on the options side just because stick with my team and what we're playing all together, it makes it a little bit easier.
Okay. So to get back into small caps, you want to see green days, you want to see more volume.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you one last question about the small caps.
Of course.
Let's say we're getting that volume, we're seeing those green days, we want to start trading small cap names again. How do you find the specific stocks you want to trade?
Honestly, for the small caps, we're going to look at a low market cap, low, not that many shares available. So what I do usually is I see the top gainers in the morning.
Okay.
And for the top gainers, I use Benzinga Pro.
Great.
I'm not saying that because I'm here, but yeah, I use Benzinga Pro for the top gainers. The news section's amazing. So I find that any of the top gainers, low shares available, is my best bet to day trade intraday for the small caps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Justin, I appreciate it. Good luck in these choppy markets.
Cool. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That was fun. All right, everyone. I think that's a wrap on today's show. We have exhausted.
Join us back at 3:30 p.m. for Spencer's live reaction to the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
Oh, you said 3 o'clock was the thing?
Yeah.
Interesting. No, stay with us for our next show, The Roadmap, talking about the top 10 NFT stories of the week. Woo! Followed by At the Close with me and Joel Elconin at 3:30. Followed by Christopher Yule, I believe, and the return of Money Mitch. Depends if Mitch has internet at his new house.
The return of Money Mitch.
All right, drop us a like on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, or a retweet, whatever. Shoot us a follow. We're on every platform, guys. We're on all the socials. Follow us on TikTok. Aaron Bree does some really great work on our TikTok. If you don't follow us there, you're missing out. Him and Rohan put a lot of time and effort into the TikToks, and they're very good, frankly. You guys do a very good job with that. So follow us on TikTok. Check out Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com. Free 2-week trial for everyone. There's also a discounted link in the description of this video. That'll get you a 25% discount right off the bat. But a free 2-week trial is available at pro.benzinga.com. You can always email us, shows@benzinga.com. Any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. And that's what I got. You got anything else?
No. We'll be back tomorrow, same time as always, 11:30 a.m. Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Please smash the like and subscribe.
Look at that comment. You've been on Instagram?
Well, no, the same videos that we post on TikTok go to the Reels on Instagram.
Okay, got
it. So some people...
Got
which, by the way, Tiny Pie, if you're out there next time, can you tag me on Instagram? I'm trying to up my follower game on there.
Next time...
oh, wait, actually, my last thing. Do you know Emmanuel Acho on...
yes, I do.
I
don't know him personally, but I know of him.
I kind of owned him on Twitter today.
You owned him?
Yeah, and he replied to it. And then I was going to own him again.
Oh, congratulations on your Cardinals last night. Albert Pujols with the walk-off.
Thank you. Yeah. On a game that Adam Wainwright pitched 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Pujols walks off with a walk-off sac fly. I was actually watching the game, which is, it's a walk-off sac fly. It's not like the most exciting thing in the world, but just to see Albert driving the winning run in a game that Waino pitched like that, it's like, holy shit, what all
right, show us this tweet.
What year is it?
Can you share it on the screen?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Show us this tweet where you...
Which, this is actually really funny because, all right, so I kid you not, I'll read you a text. This just makes it a little funnier with my friend from college the other night. Well, he texted me about the Kobe or Jason Tatum texting. Did you see that
I saw that. Yeah.
He said this is kind of lame, and I was like, I agree. If anything, do it and don't post it. But then my text after that was, I don't even really drink soda anymore, but I still steal one every time I go to Chipotle. Like, I'll ask for a water cup, but then fill it up with Coke.
Okay. You do that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Every time I go to Chipotle.
Okay.
And he texted, he said, that's what my Hinge profile used to say. So anyway,
So what does that have to do with this tweet?
you'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
So Emmanuel Acho tweeted, am I the only kid who used to go to fast food places, ask for a water cup, and fill it up with lemonade instead? And I said, yep, you're actually the first and only person to ever do that, Emmanuel. And
Wow, some snark.
he replied to it and said, as an adult, I don't know what to do with the guilt. I feel like I owe Chipotle at least $12.75, which that's why it was funny to me, because he even mentioned Chipotle, which is where I just texted my friend, like, every time I go to Chipotle, I ask for a water
You
cup.
didn't own him. You didn't own him.
Kinda.
You snarkily replied, and he replied.
I got 45 likes on it. It wasn't a
right.
ratio, but
Good job.
it was more than
Good job, man.
I owned them.
All right, smash the like. The roadmap is up next.
Well, okay, do you want to know what the subsequent own was going to be?
Sure.
I was going to post his career earnings in the NFL and be like, well, yeah, I'd be stealing. So
Dude, that is so mean.
And then I was
That's
like,
so
that's what I
mean.
said. I was like, yeah, I won't be mean.
All right.
He already gets dunked on Twitter a lot because he says stupid shit like that. Am I the
All right.
only kid?
All right.
Yeah, you're the only kid to ever have done that.
All right.